go. Ski Mask is a little hoe. We're gonna put him up on the television show. You're so great. Oh, Randy, you're a piece of shit. Well, that's the truth. You're wrong, but what, you want to have I'll let you talk, but if you want, we should do a little freestyle battle. I'm kind of in the freestyle mood.
I can't rap no more.
I'm not that good, but you're not in a good mood. We won't.
You're hyped though. You got all the energy.
I see how you get though. You get that little in you, and it's like, you gotta fuck you, skip, fuck you, skip, fuck you, skip. All right, here you go. Ski Mask is a little hoe. We're gonna put him up on the television show. Please, let me see your face. All right, here you go. Here you go. Ski Mask is a little hoe. We're gonna put him up on the television show. 2 locks right here, tatted on your chest. And here you are. Here you go. Ski Mask is a little hoe. We're gonna put him up on the television show. Please, let me see your face. All right, here you go. Here you go. Ski Mask is a little hoe. We're gonna put him up on the television show. Oh man. Here you go. Ski Mask is a little hoe. We're gonna put him up on the television show. Please, let me see your face. All right, here you go.
Come on, white motherfucking train. Yo, welcome to the NJCOURTS show. I welcome you, take a ticket. Now you're gonna get kinda lifted, cause I know some of you like a puff, get it? Oh no, but just get your popcorn and welcome to the show, cause we're about to get it when we roll. Yo, that's what's up, about to get a hug, about to show this allegation, that's what's up. Oh, I don't like to lie, I don't like to allegate, I just got the facts and I ain't why, but why do you wanna try with me? Do you wanna lie, cause I'm about to show you how I get thrifty, and that's how I got this shit. I'm about to not embarrass you, but I'm about to get with it as I put it down. Got the straight facts and I don't clown around, yo. So welcome to the NJC show. Wait, did I say NJ and NYC show? Yo, I don't know what's up. I'm kinda looking on the 40 ounce that I drank. What's up, yo? Here we go. Welcome to the fucking show. It ain't about Ski Mask, it's the controller, yo. So sit down, don't clown around, don't take a blue, cause you're about to pass out.
Stop when I want to. I'm not addicted.
Your court television news starting now.
Welcome to the NJ Court TV show. Let me get myself in there really good. All right, hello. Here we go. Welcome to the NJ Court TV show. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining. Let me just get everything set up here. We're already ready to go. No waiting for clips to be downloaded. We did have a little bit of a little musical intro. And I saw somebody's comment, just rap. Hey, I'm not even a rap person. This intro was actually done by, having a little brain fart. Non-tent. I wanted to say non-tent, excuse me. Shout out to non-tent. And that was actually another clipper that clipped that and edited for this channel. It was really cool. And then the second one was just a parody that I did for the controller case. But I agree, too much rap. So we'll change that out. Maybe a little country song introduction. Welcome to the NJ Court show. We can do a little country, something like that. We'll change it up. I appreciate your suggestion. So, but anyways, thank you all for joining. It's Thursday evening, 10:35 p.m. on the East Coast. I know it's a little late for everybody here on the East Coast, but hey, I appreciate you joining. Had a long day today, so we'll go over that. We're going to obviously take a look at the court coverage, and I'm going to explain that here in a bit. Just kind of want to get started by saying hi to everybody. I do got my phone on with me, so I can read chat. I can see everybody throwing out the emojis already. Chat's already on fire. But I'd like to welcome the mods. Looks like we have Jersey in this evening. Just Jen, welcome. Let's see here. I don't know if I missed anybody else. Okay, excellent. So as far as mods tonight, welcome Just Jersey and Jen. Anyways, just some quick house rules for everybody. I'm sure most of y'all know, but we do got a lot of new viewers, a lot of new subscribers. So just with the chat, all we ask is that you just respect each other and that you respect the mods. Real simple rules. We don't ban people based on your personal opinions, but if it does break TOS or if it is offensive towards somebody else or one of the mods, we are going to ask for, that it not be done. If you do it, you'll get a little slap on the wrist, a little timeout, little ban, not a ban at that point. You'll get a little timeout to the corner. If it is serious enough, you will be escorted right away by one of the bailiffs out of the courtroom. But most of the time, you'll just get a little timeout. If it happens again, then at that time, you'll have a little escort out the courtroom by one of the bailiffs, okay? But we generally don't have too many problems with that. This is one of probably the most interesting chats, I would say, on the tubes right now. We've always got a lot of interesting comments. A lot of people have fun with the emojis. Obviously, with a lot of these court cases, there's a lot of two sides to it. A lot of these characters are obviously public figures. Everybody we've covered so far has a YouTube channel. Okay. Right now, as we have started covering, IRL streamers and YouTubers that are known in the multiple different communities around this platform that do get in trouble or go to a court case. Obviously, in this one, we saw something a little bit different. One, we've actually got one out of the 3 court cases that has been completed. So you'll have, more or less, I'm sure most of you probably heard the news. But if not, I'll go over that as well for you. But, out of the 3, this one is actually one that we can close the chapter to. Now, like I've said before, if this individual does get in any more trouble or this case gets opened back up, which it very well can, and we're going to discuss that, then of course we're going to go back to this and cover it. But like I said, this is a court coverage channel. So, once we've covered a court case and it's completed, then we move on. As a matter of fact, I was looking at chat and I saw a lot of people were interested in the Trina Golden case. I am as well. Obviously, this person's been a public figure before on the IP2 community. She was introduced by the RV crew. If y'all not familiar with that, that was it's almost been about a year or two ago that they all dispersed. But that was with Captain Content and his RV group. That also introduced another character that's been in trouble, which is Cheeto. So interesting how that RV has definitely produced a few bad apples, as they say, or bad Cheetos. But so Trina Golden's case is coming up. That involves drugs. I think somebody had told me it even involves some type of murder charge because it was like something to have to do with it. Again, like I'm not going to start talking about something that I don't know much about, but I can tell you this: they did get arrested. It was for some serious stuff. They do have a public record that's available. As a matter of fact, that information's already been sent to me. I just haven't had a chance to browse through it all. Obviously, censor things that I need to before I can put it back out, or put it out for the public. But that's a case that we may look into. So like I said, it's almost, we're heading towards the end of the month. We do have our other 2 cases that we need to, continue on until those are finished, or as far as the coverage. Again, remember with Controlla, she's going to be having her court case coming up very soon. In fact, I think it's next week. If I'm not mistaken, I have so many dates in my head. It's either 21st or 24th. I'm pretty sure it was the 24th. But I'll get you the exact date and time for that court case. Again, it is public information, so if you can look that up yourself if you like. You can even call the courthouse and ask. They'll be more than happy to give you that information. But so we have that case going on, and then you've got the whole shit show going on with Ski Mask. For some of you that may not be familiar with that individual, tonight's not the night we're going to be discussing them. You can go down that rabbit hole on many of the videos I have on my main channel. But obviously that individual is very important in this channel because it is a court case that we covered. And it is actually, as a matter of fact, this individual did not even show up to any of the programs or as far as they were supposed to attend as far as their plea deal. So this individual, as of right now, has actually just received a bench warrant. It's an active one, and they're pretty much looking just to be picked up at this point, and then they're going to go in front of a judge and see what goes on after that. So, and we talked a little bit about that the other few nights. So, again, like what I said, we'll dive into that another evening. But obviously, it's something that has not been concluded yet. So, ongoing. But like I said, with the Ganval Court case, that chapter is closed today. You'll have the conclusion of that shortly. I will explain this to you. This evening, we are going to be showing some clips. Definitely. Obviously, we've got the court coverage from today. Let's see here. So, look forward to that. I am splitting up this court coverage into 2 nights. The reason being is, one, there's probably about an hour and a half's worth of footage. It was a long case. There was actually a recess at one point. Okay. There was almost going to be 2 recesses at at a certain point, but that didn't end up happening. But there was a recess at one point. So like I said, that actually kind of broke down the way that we're going to be viewing the court coverage. So it kind of worked out okay. But the reason that I'm not going to be showing the second part this evening is because it is the longer version, or not longer version, but the longer part of the case. And there's a lot of editing that needs to be done. That part has a witness in there. You're going to see, I'm going to show you a little bit about that so you can kind of see, exactly what I'm talking about. But because of that and some other things, I do need to just go through there and make sure everything's censored to, pretty much to the standards that I want. I just want to remind people, this court coverage was approved by the judge. This court coverage is my coverage. I, as a matter of fact, don't even need to censor anything out except for what the judge asked me to, which there's nothing to worry about that because, we're not going to be discussing names here. Obviously, you know the name of this individual, but you'll hear here in the first part what the judge means by that. So, but other than that, one little, pretty much, what would you say, stipulation that the judge gave me. This is my footage. I don't need to actually even censor out faces if I don't want to. It's just whether I decide to, out of the respect of those individuals and the court. And I've decided to do that. So hence why the second video, we'll be taking a look at that tomorrow. And I asked just for a little bit of your patience. I'm sure you all understand. Like I said, this wasn't like the Controlla case, which was a much shorter coverage. This case went on, like I said, for over an hour. And the second part is going to take a little bit of time for me to just kind of edit through it and make sure everything looks good. And then we're going to be taking a look at that tomorrow. And I think it's kind of good because it's a lot of stuff to kind of, one, go over, and 2, just a lot of stuff to kind of take in. I will tell you this, I'm not going to spoil anything, but it got pretty emotional during the case for the witness. I mean, you could feel it in the courtroom, kind of how disgusting, everything was going on, just hearing the story of what happened to this individual. But that was kind of more my opinion, but I think you can just tell. I mean, obviously, when you're sitting in there, you can feel it, but I'm pretty sure y'all just viewing the video, once we get to that part, you're going to see what I mean. But like I said, we are going to take a look at the first part of the trial. I'll kind of explain how this went down a little bit, and we're going to also go over this afterwards because I'm sure we're going to have a lot of people jumping in, and a lot of people are still going to have a lot of questions. Okay, so. And again, if I do, oh my gosh, please forgive me if I do say one, not that I got the story mixed up, but if I make a incorrect use of a wordage, forgive me. But anyways, long story short, I mean, most of y'all know what was going on is this was pretty much this trial was set forth. Well, it went on for 2 years. I mean, it almost felt like when you're sitting there, like this is just something that happened the other day. But this was this trial was ongoing for 2 years, believe it or not. I mean, it's amazing that it went down. It went for that long. I'll just say that a lot of resources were used up for this. I can tell you that. But essentially, this individual had a broken injunction. Okay. They weren't supposed to contact another individual from the courts. Okay. Through the courts, this individual was not to be contacted by Ganval. Okay. This individual brought forth a police report that stated that they were contacted allegedly by this individual. Okay. And this is what sparked the investigation. Through this investigation, they had enough evidence, the prosecution did, to set forth or continue on with the case against this individual for essentially, there's a lot of like fancy words, but it's pretty much, and this is not what exactly happened, but this is an example. It's just like breaking up probation. Okay. They say, hey, don't call, or, say you've got a restraining order on somebody. They break the restraining order by calling you, contacting you, talking about you. Kind of the same thing, like I said, I'm just making an example. So this individual, pretty much, long story short, was not to contact this witness, okay? And allegedly they did. That's where all this stemmed from. So there was actually a first case before all this happened. We're going to be getting that information as far as all the court documents, probably within this week. I do want to present that for you. And at that time, and that's probably going to be done just by video. We're not going to be making a panel show out of it. Like I said, pretty much after we conclude the court coverage, unless this individual gets in trouble again, or this very well can be reopened, this case, we'll continue that coverage. But at that point, like I said, we've got some other individuals that got some cases coming up and a lot of people interested in that. And we're going to move on. Like I said, we're a court coverage channel. Simple as that. We provide what the viewers want. We provide, in this case, I would have to say, like I told you guys before, that you're going to see a lot of different, aspects of the trial system here. Like I said, this first part, kind of going to what I was explaining. So essentially, that's what brought forth this case. Okay, so moving on. Here we are today at the hearing. Okay, so this first part or first half of the hearing, what this was essentially was the judge listening to the prosecution and the defense, essentially wanting to enter in some evidence, okay, more for the prosecution. This evidence was going to be the pretty much message that was received by the witness. Obviously, this is probably going to be the, only or one of the strongest pieces of evidence that they had for the case. Hence why it was important in order to proceed forward with a jury trial. So we're not at the jury hearing yet. Okay. We're not at a jury trial yet. This first part was just to see if they were going to allow this piece of evidence into the jury trial. Okay. And this was up to the judge. This is the judge's decision. All right. So we're going to jump into that clip. I'm not going to go any further from that. I just wanted to explain what you're viewing. So at this point, you are viewing pretty much the discussion between the prosecution, the defense, and the judge. Okay. And they're arguing between each other whether this evidence is going to be allowed. Now, what the judge did ask at one point, and what you're going to see here in a bit, was, and you guys are going to all witness this, was for that witness to come and testify. And this is for the judge in order to make his decision on whether he wanted this to go forward into the jury, okay, into the jury hearing. So what you're going to be viewing right now, we're going to jump right into it, is going to be the first part of the trial. This is going to be about an 18-minute clip. I did just explain you a few things. I did, let's see here. I did, what was I going to say? Okay, so it's an 18-minute clip. I'm not going to be talking over it at all. I'm just going to play it through. I'll be looking at chat, obviously, if you have any questions. Oh, sorry. Let's see here. We've got our first donation of the evening. Thank you. It looks like M. Micropeen. $4.99. Thank you for that dono. Come watch G's stream. This dude is censoring and lying. Hey, we appreciate your support. Much appreciated. All right. And I don't know how we're going to be censoring or lying when we're actually going to be watching the trial here. So, but we appreciate your support. $4.99 for the next court case. So thank you, Micropeen. Much appreciated. So moving on, we're going to play the trial part here. This is going to be the first part. Again, is just what I explained to you. This is just the judge hearing whether or not they're going to allow this piece of evidence to go forward into the jury hearing. Okay. So without further ado, here we go. And just to explain you, and during this part, the individual that we're discussing is waiting outside. They didn't have to. As a matter of fact, the judge was getting pretty upset because there was other people. So there was other people on the docket. So this morning, like I said, this was not the jury hearing yet. This was going to happen in the afternoon. So there was other people in the docket. They went ahead and started with those. Actually, I think they were going to start with Mr. Witt first, but because he and his lawyer weren't ready, they went ahead and started with the other individuals on the docket, went through all them pretty quick. And then we were just sitting there waiting probably for a good 30 minutes for Mr. Witt and his lawyer to come in, and they never did. As a matter of fact, they kept sending the judge kept sending the prosecutor outside to see if they were ready or not. And finally they were. So I'm expecting this individual to walk in with their lawyer. And apparently, I guess they were just I guess, hiding or preferred to sit outside in the lobby. So right now, what you're going to see is just this individual's a lawyer, the public defender. And remember, this is a public defender. This is not a private attorney. Remember when I think it was court coverage day one, we went over the paperwork for some of this court coverage, or excuse me, for this trial. And one of those paperworks was actually the pretty much request for a public defender, being that they can't afford a lawyer. So they call it indigent, pretty much saying, hey, I can't afford a lawyer. Either I'm homeless, I'm just low income, I don't have a job right now. So for whatever reason, this individual could not afford a real, I guess not a real lawyer, but an actual private attorney. So they were being in the care of a public defender. Okay. So they were waiting outside. So what you're going to see here right now is just their attorney, the prosecutor, the public defender, and the judge. Okay. And then we'll discuss everything else going after we watch the clip. All right. So like I said, it's about an 20 minute clip. We're not going to be discussing anything over it. If there's any donations during the clip, I will hold off until it's done to recognize those donations. So I'm sorry I can't interrupt the clip, but please be patient. I will definitely shout you out. Okay. All right. Well, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay. And here we go. Oh, one last thing. Sorry, I'm not teasing you guys. I promise. The audio is pretty good. I had to clean it up. I want to explain something here. So when you're in a courtroom, there's actually bailiffs, and there was actually a couple of police sitting in front of me. They have radios turned on, okay? That's emitting frequency signals, okay? So the microphone I have, actually, if I didn't have this pretty much a HD microphone connected, you would not even hear the judge, the prosecutor, the public defender talking. I actually filmed this hearing with two phones, one just using the microphone off the phone, and then obviously this setup here, which is the more higher quality camera and the HD microphone, okay? The other one that was using the microphone on the camera, you couldn't even hear those individuals. So I'm glad I just didn't do that. But unfortunately, with the HD mic, because it can pick up a lot more further, it picks up those higher frequencies, okay? What I did this time is I ran a program to cut most of that out, okay? So you're going to hear it pretty clean. There is a little bit of that in the background, but not as much as it would have been with the original version. And that's, again, I have to clean that up too on the second part when we get the witness testimony and all that. But I just recommend you just put it up. I mean, if you have a hard time hearing, it'll probably just be best if you have the volume up. It's not like it's super low, but it's probably going to be heard best with the volume all the way up. Let's see here. Yeah, that's it. I was just going to tell you, put the volume up if you had hard of hearing like me. Other than that, I cleaned it up as well as I could. There is a little bit background frequency, but like I said, there's just nothing I can do when you've got these, frequencies like from the radios emitting from there. There's also laptops turned on from the attorneys and all that. So, all right. So without further ado, here we go for reals this time. Drum roll.
Are just general restatements. Okay, on the State versus William Witt, there's a motion in limine. The number one, sidebar conferences will be recorded, not transcribed. The defense invokes rule of sequestration on Grant Act. The rest of them are just general restatements of laws. I'll take them all under advisement, and as the case goes, except for number 10, and that is the issue of text messages. Counsel also gives me the case law, Walker v. Harley Anderson, a 4th DCA case from 2020. So would you like to make your argument? As to why I should not allow the text messages.
Yes, sir. And according to, well, in this particular case and how it's relevant to, and once again, this is still on this one bit. The case is Walker v. Harley Anderson. It's a 4th DCA case, 4D 19-2216. So in this particular case of Mr. Witt, this is a violation of the injunction that involves a text message from April 29th and the on the date of an extension of an injunction in front of the judge. That was temporary. That was extended on April 29th. And so
And when was the text message?
April 29th.
The same day as the extension?
Yes. So the text message, well, what she's claiming and what she wrote in the injunction documentation, she incorrectly states that it was on April 21st that she got this injunction. I guess that was the day she figured out. But the hearing wasn't until the actual, the 29th. He was served on the 26th. So the messages and stuff that she puts in the report is not from his phone number. She claims that it has to be him because they were the only people and nobody else knew about it. And that's incorrect, based on prior like videos, like when he was served. He was like on a live broadcast, some kind of podcast. And the cops are serving him, it's broadcast, it's going live on the internet. And he's discussing it with the police officer. And the dates and everything the cops is telling him of when this is supposed to take place, and to not have any contact with the other victim. They say her name with the cops. They're all discussing it. So he's, and it sells with the date. So it's not that it's an isolated and that he's the only person that will know about this hearing. It was broadcast with probably close to 1,000 people were watching this video. So I think it's like 900 or something, but it was broadcast.
And when was the video?
It was on the 26th.
So it was before the text message?
Correct. So there's multiple people, tons of people that were watching it, that knew about it, knew it was, happening, the date and the time it was like broadcast. So her claim is that I don't recognize the phone number. It's not his phone number. There's no proof that it's on his phone number. She just assumed that it was him. And so in the police reports that's attached to the injunction, it clearly states that she says, I have no proof that it's him, but she believes it's him. And the cops told her that it was not, that they had no proof that it was him. So for her to state that it is from him extensively, and to state that he's the only person that it could have been from is an inaccurate statement. And I think it's highly prejudicial to Mr. Wood in the sense that she doesn't know where the text message came from. And this case clearly states that you can't have a bunch of text messages from a person and it's not authenticated before you can admit it. There's no
This case
authentication.
does say that you can't have it authenticated
Well, it says it's not.
unless you have a reason to authenticate it.
Okay, but the reason that she's having is to say that it's him. She can't.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Why is this in a motion in limine instead of a motion to suppress?
Because a motion to suppress, I don't think it's a motion to suppress. I think it's a motion to move.
All right. State, do you have any response?
Because it's not, I apologize. I think arguably, I don't think it's a statement against an interest because his position is he doesn't make a statement.
You're trying to exclude evidence, even though it might not be a constitutional violation, it's a rule of evidence. So I guess we can argue that. I wish this was done pre-trial, but anyway, go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. Stating to the fact that this was put on April 26, 2021, that this was told to 900 people or a group of people.
Have you had the case?
Yes, Your Honor. I just want to say at that point that it was, her number was not put out to all those people. The only person that had her number at that time that is known was between her and the defendant. As she would testify, she had contacted the defendant, he had her number, and he knew her. And he would have a means of contacting her, unlike the other 900 individuals. And then as stating to the case that was provided by opposing counsel, in the case it also states for authentication for the purpose of admission is a relatively low threshold that only requires a prima facie showing that the proper evidence is authentic. That comes from Mullins. Even so, the instant case lacks the distinctive characteristics. Here, we do show the distinctive characteristics. There was a temporary injunction extension on 4/29/2021. That extension is the same date that this text message was received. That extension began at 10:30 with Judge Kaplan. At around 12:18.
By the way, this was a Judge Kaplan case.
Yes, I saw that.
At around 12:18 on the same day, the victim receives a text message from a spoof number. Linda, you won't win this court case against me today. Ganval always wins. That is directly the same time in which the defendant had just finished having a hearing with the victim just finished having a hearing with the defendant. As well, he states her
And can
name.
you tell me also what so on 4/29, there's a hearing.
Yes.
And it extended the injunction. And what was the injunction?
The injunction itself was for against stalking.
Okay, but with respect to
Which was dismissed.
the texting, what was?
No communication, Your Honor.
Okay, so it's just a general blanket?
Yes, Your Honor. No, when I was in 500
And
feet, no communication.
And the allegation is the text said, you're not going to win.
The allegation is you're not going to win this case against me, Your Honor.
Okay.
So there is a close relationship between the text message, what was going on that day between the defendant and the victim, and as well as the time. And this defendant also states his YouTube name, Ganval. Evidence goes to show, and later testimony will go on to show that Ganval is his YouTube name, the one he subscribes with, the one that he used, would use to talk about the defendant, talk about the victim on multiple occasions. At that point, Your Honor, we believe that we met a prima facie threshold to authenticate this evidence, and that it is later stating that it is up to the jury to determine if they believe it's the defendant or not, because that is a question of fact. At this point, we believe we authenticated the text message enough to allow it to be entered into evidence.
Okay, do you want a rebuttal to why, all I really care about is the authentication issue?
Well,
Why does this case go with what you're saying as opposed to him?
well, first, the text messages does not come from his phone number.
Right.
So,
And I
the
think in the
Ganval-
case, that was the same.
Correct, and so this Ganval TV has not just his name, but there's other people with the same identification or that copy that same identification and use that. It's not just him. The name is public also. You use it, it's a public name. So it's not that he's not the only person that knew the defendant and didn't know his phone number. So it's not, and he posts his phone number everywhere. So everyone knows his phone number. So it's not like he doesn't know or that the public doesn't know his phone number. So for her to say that it came from his number and she's going to her authentication is that it had to come from him. There's no basis to show that it came from his phone number. In this particular case, it even talks about that the numbers didn't come from a particular phone number. And as a matter of fact, I got another case.
In the case, it actually says, in the 10 pages of text messages into evidence, appellant objected, contending that she did not recognize the telephone number from which the messages were sent. Over objection, the court admitted the messages. The trial court asked appellant how she knew the messages were from the appellant. After much back and forth, Kelly said she knew the messages were from the appellant because of the content of the messages, which is what you're saying.
And what
That
I
they were
was,
intended to harass her, and the appellant had stated that she would harass appellant's nephew, Stan. Okay.
and I understand what the court is saying, but the content of that is public information. It's not like it's
I mean, I
only known
think that
between the two
supports
people.
what you're actually arguing.
Right, if that's, when we're talking about the authentication, she's saying it had to have come from him, but that's public knowledge. It's not something that only was known between the two of them. It was public knowledge about this hearing at the time, when it was going on. The two parties were going to be in front of Judge Michael Kaplan at that time and on that date. It was public knowledge. It wasn't just known between the two people.
If I may, Your Honor.
And
Well,
but not only that, the injunction itself was public knowledge. It's not like it was between those two people. The entire contents of this injunction was public knowledge. Every single word was public knowledge. The contents.
Okay, I don't think the public knowledge is as much as supported by the case as the fact that there's no independent reason for her to be able to authenticate that this text message came from her, unless you tell me otherwise.
Your Honor, I believe that it's a fact for the jury on whether they decide
Well,
to
the jury
say
has to
it,
see it first.
which is correct, Your Honor. I don't have her here to take the stand to help authenticate it. That would have been helpful in an evidentiary hearing. She's not here in which I can lay some testimony as to how she would know this text message. I'm going based off of what I was told in my memory of what she told me. At this time, what I can explain is that he states his YouTube name is the name he created. It's been copied by someone else at that point, but that's the name that he subscribed to that he created. He states her name. This takes place 2 hours after the hearing. So the hearing could, at this point, the hearing ends at around 11:30, Your Honor. When the hearing ends, a text message is sent to her after it was already granted an extension, and that text message says, "You won't win this court case against me." That already shows a relationship between the defendant and the victim. Then it states that Ganval, the Ganval, which states the defendant's alias at this point, the alias used by his YouTube name. And then this also states that it was taken the same day as the injunction. The only person that would have the motive and intent to send this message on that day would be the defendant. I believe that it does meet the prima facie threshold because it does show distinctively that this case was only between them two. The only person that would have the motive and intent to send this message would be
And
him.
what is the
That's
text?
not-
What is the text
connected.
message?
That's not.
Linda, you won't win this court case against me today, and if you would like, I could approach.
I
And
hear you.
Judge, that's
No,
not
if you just want to look at it yourself.
This whole case involves not only
Okay.
her, but other people.
This is what I'm
involved.
going to do to be fair. I'm going to let you provide testimonial evidence. When will she be here?
I need to contact her. I can have her come earlier if you want, Your Honor.
Yeah, if you could get her here by 11, because I'd like to get started.
She
with
lives
the jury.
in Pembroke Pines. I will get her here when I can. When I get to the office, I'm able to call her.
Okay.
And Judge-
But I will tell you, based on your allegation, I don't see anything that would authenticate this message. Because it's not his number, which you admitted to. It's a spoof number, you said. So it's an unrecognizable number. And even though the threshold is low, there are no distinctive characteristics of the text message. And it doesn't believe that there are any other factors to authenticate this as coming from him. And in this, it even goes on to say, as a proponent of admission of evidence, it was appellee's burden to prove the authenticity of the text messages being sent by the appellant. Thus, the trial court's rationale that no other explanation for the messages was offered placed on the appellant the obligation of disproving their authority. This was error. So that sounds like your argument, and that the 4th DCA is saying that's error.
What I'm arguing, Your Honor, is that the distinctiveness of what the message contends, the date of the message, along with what occurred on that date, as well as the defendant already having prior contact with her, and unlike the other 900 individuals that was shown the injunction, the defendant had contact with her, and if he were to put her number online on that day, that would be considered doxing at that point. The defendant didn't do that in the video.
And Judge, we don't know if anybody has contacted her. We're only dealing with him,
Correct.
so there's no,
So-
we don't know that.
But we
I've said
also,
enough. I'll listen to the evidence, and we'll be in recess till 11.
yes, Your Honor. Are we going to hear the other motions, Your Honor?
Nine. The motion for exclusion, would you like to make your motion?
Yes, if you want to hear it now, that's fine. Yes, Judge, I filed a motion, based on the knowledge that I recently, was made aware of this YouTube, affiliation of filming the trial, and I'm objecting to it of my face and name, being displayed on YouTube because I really haven't aversion to that, but, I don't want my face and, likeness, my name, image, and likeness on a YouTube channel for profit and for, display. So that was my main, request, that if the court allows it, and I know that there was approval to use the court administration, that at least my face is not,
Okay.
on YouTube.
I will grant the exclusion of your name, sir, not to use her name on any of your stuff. I've already advised him about videoing, and he's not to get the jury, he's not to get any of the other things that he's not allowed to do. But when you speak, and when your client sits next to you, I don't think he's capable of getting your face not on there. But I will exclude your name.
And also, this is Ms. Warner, she's going to city secretary.
Okay, and your co-counsel's name.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Just, I don't even remember your name. So- But it's okay, you don't even have to put it on the record at this time.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll see you at 11. There she's in, getting your face not on there.
Let's play that again here.
Not to get the jury, it's not to get.
Of this YouTube,
This was the sorry attempt by Ganval. This is why he was sitting outside for 30 minutes while everybody was waiting for him. He literally wasted the judge's time, and they were getting upset because he was so afraid to go inside. This was his last-ditch attempt, was to have his lawyer trying to have me removed because she didn't want her face on the camera. But obviously, because I had permission, and I had permission from that judge himself to be there. Sorry. That's freedom of the press. So if you guys didn't catch that, I'll let you guys listen to that again.
the trial, and I'm objecting to it of my face and name, being displayed on YouTube because I really haven't aversion to that, but, I don't want my face and, likeness, my name, image, and likeness on a YouTube channel for profit and for, display. So that was my main, request, that if the court allows it, and I know that there was approval to use the court, at least my face is not,
Okay.
on YouTube.
I will grant the exclusion of your name, sir, not to use her name on any of your stuff. I've already advised him about videoing, and he's not to get the jury, he's not to get any of the other things that he's not allowed to do. But when you speak, and when your client sits next to you, I don't think he's capable of getting your face not on there. But I will exclude your name.
And also, this is Ms. Warner, she's going to city secretary.
Okay,
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Just, I don't even remember hearing it. But it's okay, you don't even have to put it on the record at this time.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll see you at 11. Judge Brown has a trial, I think, downstairs. She's in the Judge Diaz room on 5. If you'd like to go watch it. You guys are going to be watching now. No, you guys You mean your dad?
Again, enjoy your visit.
Hey,
Good
thank
luck.
you so much.
Take care.
Thank you for your service.
All
You have
right.
a great day.
Thank you, too.
Thank you.
And it's about this case, it's funny, I was actually a Judge Kaplan's office the other day, so when I had a
Me back on there. Oops. All right. So that was the first part there. So like I'd explained, pretty much we went into recess. We were going to pretty much waiting for the witness. The judge wanted to hear from the witness where this pretty much testimony came from as far as who received the message. So now at this time, we're waiting just for the witness to arrive at the courthouse. And that's where we go into the second part of the hearing, okay? Let's see here. I just want to show you guys kind of the lobby area that I was talking about. This is where Ganval was hiding out for that part of the hearing. Show you here.
I don't know if that individual's hearing is going to be towards the end, like it was listed.
Now, this is before the hearing. I got there, I was there about an hour before, and even when the hearing started at 9, everything was kind of weird. I mean, everything started at 9, but realistically, they didn't start hearing any cases till 10, which the judge was pretty, I guess, a pretty patient guy. So I've seen some judges that do not like that, But yeah, so this is the lobby, that's why it's really quiet. Nobody's gotten into the courtroom's locked right now. But just to give you an idea.
Sometimes they go by last names, and that individual does have a last name that's towards the end. Or they may be, depending on the type of trial, put it towards the beginning. So we'll find out very soon.
Oh, sorry. Let me start it from the beginning. Oops.
Courtroom 6160. This is Broward County Central Courthouse. We're here this morning to attend the hearing of Ganval, or otherwise known as Mr. William Witt. The hearing will begin at 9 a.m. Again, here at Courtroom 60.
Oops.
With NJCOURTS TV, providing you this.
There we go.
With NJCOURTS TV, providing you this live court coverage this morning here in the beautiful state of Florida. We're just waiting here in the county courthouse lobby for the door to open for the courtroom. And that way we can go ahead and set up. Long hallway. That's where everybody that'll be coming in for the courtroom or for any of the hearings. There's actually quite a bit of hearings on this docket. I don't know if that individual's hearing is going to be towards the end, like it was listed, because sometimes they go by last names, and that individual does have a last name that's towards the end. Or they may be, depending on the type of trial, put it towards the beginning. So we'll find out very soon. And thank you for joining me here this morning for the jury trial of Ganval here in beautiful Florida, Broward County Courtroom 6160.
All right, so I'm going to do an introduction right now into the second part here. Again, the second part we're going to be showing tomorrow. I still need to edit through it. This is going to be about a good hour of court procedure. If the victim reaches out to me and doesn't mind their face being shown, that'll save me a lot of time. But either way, like I said, I don't even have to do that. I'm just doing it out of respect of that individual in the court. Just like I said, I don't have to. This is my footage. I was given permission to be in there and film everything. As you can see, even the judge told the lawyer, the public defender for Ganval, sorry, he has every right to be here. So as a matter of fact, the judge even tells her that he already knows that this was going to be posted on my YouTube, because I had to actually, whenever you apply for these media credentials, or whenever you're applying as a media, you have to pretty much get vetted. So I had to give him my channel name, all my information. I don't know if the judge was a fan, because he even told Ganval's lawyer, he's going to be posting it on his YouTube channel afterwards. So your face is going to be on there, but most of it's going to be your back. So it's just going to be what it is. So judge was aware that I had a YouTube channel too. So yeah, he was really cool judge. Very, very, very nice man. You can tell, just with all my experience in the court system, just sitting there, you can tell this judge had put a lot of time into probably as a judge, definitely, he knew his shit. I'll tell you that. That's for sure. All right. So here we go. Let's see here. This is going to be an introduction into the second video. Like I said, I am going to be editing that video. I'll have that presented for you all tomorrow. And then if anything, we can just play the whole from start to finish. That way, there's just not that interruption for some people. But like I said, I did want to at least this evening show you the first part. The second part is where you're going to see Ganval come in. Obviously, the judge said he has to be there during this part. And you're going to see exactly where the public defender sits with their client. It's not, I saw people in the chat saying, "Oh, you're a liar. He's sitting across." I'm not allowed to film over that far right, because that's where the jury would be sitting. There wasn't any jury members, but that's just what the judge told me, and I was just respecting it. Last thing I wanted is him to see my camera like that, right? Two, I'm there to provide court coverage. If that individual was sitting next to me like they're claiming, even if they were, I'm not going to turn my camera and just pointing it at them. That's stupid. We're here for the coverage, not to look at their ugly face, okay? You're going to see enough of that here pretty soon, all right? So, yeah. And also, a lot of these individuals obviously are just trolls. I get it. But, they have no clue how the court system works. But for most of y'all that have common sense, you all know that obviously when there's it's your turn, to be in front of the judge, you're not going to be sitting in the back seats where all the, people that are watching or the media is going to be at, okay? Like I said, here in this, actually, as a matter of fact, in the introduction, you're going to see exactly where Ganval's sitting and where he would have been had he been there in the first part, okay? So without any further ado, let's jump into that. This is just a really tiny clip, so I'll replay it a couple of times here for you if you didn't catch it or you don't hear it. So here you go.
Chamber to the stand for the purposes of the other two. Come right here.
Please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Please state your name and spell your last name for the record.
Linda Margaret Shaneberg, SC.
There you go. So this is the introduction of the witness being sworn in. Obviously, a lot of you are going to know who this is. This is Miss Shaneberg. Most of you know her as SJC's mother. She was obviously one of the members of this trial. Now we can discuss this since the court hearing is over. Had this not been over, for example, if this had gone to a jury hearing, which was going to be later in the afternoon, and say if this had gone to a second day, we wouldn't even be discussing this. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't have been able to show you this part of the video because the hearing wouldn't have been done yet. So, I mean, I could have actually, as a matter of fact, I could have anyways, but out of the respect of the court, I wouldn't have. But yeah, so this is going to be the introduction to the second part. This was after the short recess that you all saw got taken here on the first part. And now we're back. Ms. Shaneberg has arrived to the courtroom. If you all notice here on the left-hand side in the tacky, Goodwill looking blue suit, I think if you call it a suit, the little looks like a 1980s Miami Scarface costume, you know. That's going to be Mr. Ganval right there with his head down, trying to cover his face. Okay. So for those of you that were in the chat saying, "Oh, he's right next to you, NJ. You're just a pussy and don't want to show him, NJ." Nope, he wasn't in there. That's where he's sitting now that he's in the courtroom. So liar, liar, pants on fire. So yeah, there is Mr. Ganval sitting to the left-hand side with his public defenders. Ms. Shaneberg is about to take the stand, and we're going to be taking a look at the rest of that clip tomorrow. Like I said, this is going to be well over an hour of coverage. A lot of things got really emotional, really heated in here. It's like I said, this court coverage out of the other two that we've done, you're probably going to see a lot. One, you're going to see a lot of aspects in the just trial system that a lot of you may not have seen before, which is very interesting. But like I said, a lot of details come out, a lot of things get said. I think a lot of you are going to have your own opinion on, once you see the video. Like I said, just sitting in there, you could feel the tenseness. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to ruin it, but at the end of the hearing, the judge actually had to do something just to pretty much for the protection of the witness. And that was coming from the judge. Again, that wasn't anything that happened. Nobody requested it. The judge himself just personally said, "Hey, I feel more comfortable if this happens." So, like I said, it's not like it's a surprise. I just prefer to go over this tomorrow with everything. That way it just flows together. I don't want to confuse people. I don't want people to start saying I'm making allegations because the video's not out yet. So, hey, I'll keep my mouth shut. I'll wait till we watch the second part. Then I'll start talking a little bit more about it because I know how some people can get. All right. But yeah, so this is the introduction into the second part. And like I said, I need to do a lot of, not a lot of editing. I just need to go through it, listen, make sure nothing's discussed that the lawyer didn't want discussed, i.e. You guys heard. And then, like I said, I will try to censor Ms. Shaneberg's face as best as I can, especially during the emotional part of the hearing. And that's just, like I said, for the respect of the victim as well as for the court, but like I said, if I didn't want to, I wouldn't have to. I have every right to have shown everybody here because of having the permission, one, freedom of press, and two, having the permission of the judge, as well as I had permission of the chief judge. I guess this judge he's the hearing judge. He also had to get permission from the chief judge. So two judges had to approve this. I would say this was probably one of the more vetted, more professional court processes as far as applying for a media permission or media pass that I've experienced out of the last three court hearings that we've done. So, or two, this one being the third, excuse me. So, I want to show you a few other videos. I'm not done here. Let's see here. We already took a look at the lobby. Okay, so we actually, I guess, had some reactions. Hey, we got a donation here. James Powell with the $20 super chat. Ganval is trash. Looking forward to the second part. Hey, James, thank you so much for your $20 super chat. And I'm looking forward to showing the second part and commenting on it. Like I said, I think a lot of people are. Unfortunately, I would love to show it right now, but I'm not, like I said, there's no rush when we're not, this is a court coverage channel. We're going to do everything as per order, per, policy. And like I said, I'm doing this for being respectful. It's my opinion. So, I'm doing this just because I personally think if I was on those other people's end, hey, I maybe wouldn't want my face out there. But like I said, it's just maybe in another less than 24 hours, you'll be able to see the second coverage. So I know it's going to be kind of hard. I didn't try to throw that cliffhanger on purpose, trust me. Maybe if I get it done by tomorrow, I'm going to be up all night working on it. So if I get it done by the morning, maybe we'll have it out. Like I said, I think it doesn't matter what time of the day we go on, it'll be on a replay. So if you're, at work or you missed it, hey, you'll catch it any time of the day once you're available. But yeah, so as soon as I get that on, or excuse me, as soon as I get done with that, I'll try to get it posted up as like a premiere. But worst case, it'll be available tomorrow evening. It's not that hard. It doesn't take too long. It's just I gotta listen first. What I do is I listen through the whole hearing again, and then I go through and do any of the, like I said, if I'm going to censor her face or this or that, well, it's just censoring one person's face, which is the victim here, the witness. That's it. So yeah, so tomorrow we'll have that second part. So thank you so much. I appreciate that donation. And yes, I know a lot of people are looking forward to that tomorrow, James. So get ready for that coverage tomorrow as well. Let's see here. Let's jump over this other clip. Oh, I'm sorry. So what I was going to say was, I know there was some reactions today from this, what's his face, Ganval. I don't know. I'll let you guys just watch the video and make your own decision. Oh, but one thing I did want to just kind of address, this individual thought it's weird that we're doing court coverage of him, and he keeps referring to me as a weirdo. I don't know what's so weird about a channel that provides court coverage, especially when you're a public figure, especially as a narcissist like you. That, man, I know you love that attention. But I think this is kind of a bit weird. I don't know how somebody could call me a weirdo after I just watched this clip here.
That's weak. You can't even tell that it's balls. Show your penis. That's weak. You can't even tell that it's balls. I won't even get striked for this. Isn't that funny? You have a tiny cock. You're literally too scared to show your cock. Are you going to just leave now?
Yeah, and I'm the weirdo.
Show your penis. That's weak. You can't even tell that it's balls. I won't even get striked for this. Isn't that funny? You have a tiny cock. You're literally too scared to show your cock. Are you going to just leave now?
Yeah, that's why this video you can't find a lot, because obviously this individual doesn't want it shown. Pretty embarrassing. So I don't know how you'd call me a weirdo. All I do is provide court coverage. I'm not doing this on my live stream. So to each their own, right, Ganval? To each their own. But anyways, let's see what Mr. Ganval had to say today after, I guess, he got off of court. Let's see here. I think this is one of them.
Shit. Like, what?
Oh, yeah, here, let's start it.
He's catering to an audience that fucking despises me. And all that they're gonna be told today is that I'm allowed to be the fucking beautiful little gorgeous crazy menace that I've always been. I'm allowed to keep doing that shit. Like, what?
Play that one more time since it's a short clip.
He's catering to an audience that fucking despises me. And all that they're gonna be told today is that I'm allowed to be the fucking beautiful little gorgeous crazy menace that I've always been. I'm allowed to keep doing that shit. Like, what?
Yeah, not too smart to say that after your hearing, especially, like I said, this hearing could well be reopened up. Like I said, I don't want to talk too much because pretty much we got to watch tomorrow, in all fairness, and then we can discuss this stuff some more. So, but just this, like I said, this was today, this individual's reaction. I'm not playing this to try to shame them. I'm just showing you what their reaction is. Court coverage, individual's reaction. Like I said, this chapter is already over. After tomorrow's discussion and after tomorrow's court coverage, like I said, unless this individual gets in trouble again or they reopen the case because they'll bring maybe some better evidence in, whatever it may be hey, we'll return to it. But after that, we close the book and move on. That's how it works. But this was just all I'm showing right now is just this individual's reactions, kind of like a recast, hey, it's kind of like when the individual's coming out of court and they're saying, hey, so-and-so, you have any words for your viewers, any words for the people out there? And they go, fuck you. Well, this was his fuck you. So, hey, that's why we're showing it, right? Oh, and this was funny. This was a reaction. I thought this was pretty interesting. This was a reaction from Ganval's father. If you can't hear very well, put the volume all the way up because just to give you a little context, this is Ganval leaves his room with his headset on, and I believe he's out in the kitchen or whatever, somewhere out in the house, and he's with his father. You can hear his father talking in the background, but it's hard to hear because obviously the sound's coming through the headset. But you can hear it for the most part. We'll replay it a few times, and then I'll pretty much tell you if you didn't hear it what he said. But man, even his own dad seems to not be a really big fan of his son. Kind of sad, to be honest with you. You almost kind of see like the whole kind of ski mask Andy relationship with his father, I think. I don't know much about him. I'm not going to make allegations, but when your own father's kind of telling you this, and I don't know, it just seems like, I don't know. I can't really see a real dad or somebody that's not under duress allowing their son, who lives at their house, by the way. And I'm not sure how old Mr. Witt is. I would imagine he's in his late 30s, almost 40 or something, mid 30s. But yeah, apparently I guess he lives at home with his father. And I feel that, what father would let a son like this pretty much leech off of him, no work, doing this all day, unless they're under duress, like ski mask, right? Like we sit there and we're like, dude, no way regular parents would let their kids fucking, leech in some fucking guest room, jamming rap all day, smoking blunts all day, making death threats to people, screaming and yelling, smoking whatever other substances in their room. Unless they're, like we said, maybe under duress, maybe allegedly, something else is going on. But who knows? I'll let you make your own opinion. But like I said, just a sad situation. I almost kind of feel bad for this individual in a really fucked up way. Because I have a great relationship with my family and I'm very happy for that. But I also have friends that don't. And I know how, they're fine, obviously. But, I've talked to them. I know that sometimes they wish that they had a better relationship with their parents, or in some cases they were they had a single parent type of relationship and wish they maybe had a mother or father, But either way, like I said, I think it's just really sad at this person's age that, this is the relationship they have with their father, especially when I imagine their father's going to be a lot older. And hey, if you're like in my age with our parents, they're getting there, unfortunately, I hate to say it. And it's those times where you got to spend as much good time with your parents, because you never know when it's going to be any one of our last days. Okay. But yeah, it's just kind of sad. But yeah, let's play this here for you. I'm sorry, enough of my talking, right?
He's catering to an audience that fucking despise. I'm gonna play Mario later. Don't get mad at me. No, I don't mean my bullshit. I'm talking about my fries. I'm talking about the fries. Don't get mad at me for stealing fries. No, I love you. We're good. Now watch your TV, puppy. I'm gonna play Mario later. Play Mario later? Yo, those are so good though. Okay, I'm gone. I promise. You guys would have rather have me in jail, probably. It would have been good for me? Yeah, probably.
All right, I'm going to play that one more time just in case like I said, it is hard of hearing. So if you got your volume all the way up, that's as best as it's going to get. But I don't know if you heard at the end what I can hear it. But I'll if you didn't hear it, we'll discuss it. But I'll play this one more time. That way, if you missed it, here you go.
I'm gonna play Mario later. Don't get mad at me. No, I don't mean my bullshit. I'm talking about my fries. I'm talking about the fries. Don't get mad at me for stealing fries. No, I love you. We're good. Now watch your TV, puppy. I'm gonna play Mario later. Play Mario later. Yo, those are so good though. Okay, I'm gone. I promise. You know, you guys would have rather have me in jail probably. It would have been good for me? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, there you go. So if you guys didn't catch that at the end, his dad, he says, he's talking to, I guess, his chat, and he goes, you guys wanted me in jail. His dad says, that would have been good for you. And that's why you hear him go, that would have been good for me? With that. Jeez Louise, man. I mean, I don't got the best laugh either, right? But damn, it ain't the you want to play some Mario Kart later? And but yeah, it looks like Ganval's dad ain't too happy with them, you know? Like I said, I don't know what their relationship is. I don't care. You know, this was just his, you know, part of his reaction today to the court coverage. That's all we're playing. You know, like I said, after this, I don't give a shit what he does. You know, how many times, you know, if he streams himself playing Mario Kart with his pops, whatever he does, we're not going to be sitting here watching that shit. We're just, like I said, playing this clip so you can get an idea as far as what it maybe is like at home for little Ganval there. Little sad individual, I can tell you that. And it's most likely why you see him act the way he does, especially for his age, man. Does anybody in the chat know how old is this individual? I'm just curious. Let's see. I was guessing what, like mid to late 30s, close to 40. He's got that real, like, leathery, like, Florida over, you know, baked skin. Like I said, I literally thought he looked like a character, like, you know, a Halloween character from the Scarface movie. Well, I guess we are in Miami, right? Da-na-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na-na. Pop that collar. All right, let's see here. What else do I have? Okay, yeah, so that's where the two reactions. Let's see here. I know somebody was asking me about, they were discussing the threat. So yeah, good question. So we are going to have a panel if somebody wants to, you know, after this, if anybody wants to come up and discuss. The trial is over. Again, I do have the second part, and I guess, want to recognize in the chat, Just Jen had mentioned, do we have a link? Yeah, we'll throw out the link right now, Jen. Absolutely. And thank you for that super chat, Jen. I appreciate it. I know you're just getting my attention, so I'll return you that money. You don't have to pay me to get my attention. That's my fault. But thank you if you're donating it. I'll keep it. I'm just kidding. But anyways, it looks like Miss Shaneberg might be joining us on the panel. If she likes, she's more than welcome to come up. Who I will not be inviting up is going to be obviously Ganval. He had his opportunity today. He messed that up. This individual now has made some pretty serious threats, different threats in the forms of messages through his his chat comments. Most importantly, out of his own mouth, coming from his own live stream. We're going to play one of those here before I open up the panel, because I did see in the chat some people were asking about what threats were made. We did play this the other night, so I don't mind playing it again. But yeah, because of that, Ganval messed up his opportunity to discuss anything with me because for whatever reason, if I have to do anything as far as, with the legal system to protect myself or my family, I'm going to do that. Absolutely. And with that being said, I don't want to have any communication with this individual anymore. So if this individual would have just been a man about everything, just understood we're just going down there for court coverage, I was respectable the last 4 days. Like I said, I wasn't even going to bring up any of the videos that it's been submitted to me, showing a lot of pretty nasty, disgusting stuff from this individual. I was really fair about that. Okay. And I still am. Okay. Like I said, I'm a court coverage channel. We move on. There's so many people that are, share a lot of the same characteristics. I mean, in Trina's case, my gosh, you have some pretty serious charges there. So that's going to be a whole different bad apple. But, we're not going to spend 2 weeks here, watching all these, Ganval clips. One, a lot of them I can't even play because they're literally against TOS. They're that disgusting. Second of all, there's plenty of exposure channels like Ganval Exposure that has clips about that, about probably a lot of the clips that, I would say make this. I mean, this guy just pretty much makes himself look the way you're going to see him in these other clips, just like you see there. I mean, in just these 2 clips, the way you see him react, that's pretty much who this individual is. So, I mean, if you're interested in seeing the clips, there's a lot of different channels is all I was saying. You can jump in and go down those rabbit holes. I personally, I'm interested in the court coverage. That's what we do. And that's what we provided here. I let you guys make your own decision. One, a lot of people here are just interested in how the court procedure works. A lot of people didn't even know who these individuals were. Now you do. A lot of people in the last 4 or 5 days we've been covering this case have started doing their own research, figure out who a lot of these characters were and individuals that were part of this case. Okay, but for the most part, I know a lot of the supporters of this channel love the court coverage. That's what they're interested in. That's what we're here for. Remember, we're not a drama channel. We're not a bully shit show channel. We don't fucking sit here for 5 hours just fucking, watching somebody obsessively brush their teeth or some weird shit like that, okay? We're a court coverage channel, all right? That's what we do. Simple as that. So, like I said, going on further, we will be playing the rest of the coverage tomorrow. I will open up the panel here right now, but I know a lot of people are going to be saying, oh, why aren't you letting, it's not about being one-sided. I was already, I had invited this individual. I said, after the court hearing a few days ago, before the threat started, I said, you can come up on the panel. Anybody can come up and discuss this as long as the hearing is over. And it is. But this individual decided to be this individual and make those threats. And now for the protection of my family, I'm not going to have any communication with that individual. Simple as that. So if you can't respect that, hey, you don't have to watch the rest of the panel show. Hang out with, I'm pretty sure that person's restreaming this like they have been the last 4 days. As a matter of fact, while I was enjoying a nice dinner tonight, even went and had a nice little dip in the pool, this person was just sitting there in that little room of theirs just, when's NJ Courts coming? When's NJ Courts coming? And you know why, right? This individual just was so nervous to see what the reactions were going to be in chat, okay? They didn't know what type of footage I got. They wanted to see how, nasty they looked, okay? And like I said, we obviously didn't see them yet, all right? This second part, you're going to see and feel all the emotions of this hearing. You're going to get to watch this individual. As a matter of fact, I had 2 cameras. I had one that would have a pan of everybody in the courtroom, and I had a camera that was just focusing on the where Ganval was sitting at. That way you could see his reaction. And the whole time was this. Okay? And like I said, you can make your own opinions from it when you watch it tomorrow, but I'm not going to, like I said, make any more discussion on it until we watch it. As simple as that. But with that being said, let's go ahead and open this up, all right? So let me get the panel, the link here for whoever would like to jump in. And let's see here. And again, just some quick rules about the panel. Just be respectful. If I don't know who you are, pretty much I'm not going to let you on because I know there's going to be some malintention people. So no disrespect. If you've contacted me before, you know how this works. You can reach out through me on Insta. let me know you like to go on the panel if I don't know you. And then if I think you're who you are, you can come up. But of course, I'm not going to just throw any person that just gives me some weird name and, starts that thing too. If I don't know exactly who you are, if I didn't verify you through Insta, you're definitely going to have to show yourself. We're not going to you can go without showing yourself. But if you're going to be showing yourself or there's going to be any type of little footage in the background, I want to see your face because I don't want to see any little ding-a-ding-dings. But yeah, so we'll be, don't worry about it. It'll be a real panel show. I'm not just going to let any person up here. I am going to open it up to anybody, but trust me, it's not my first rodeo. All right. So with that being said, let me get the link here. Let's see here. Invite. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Copy. All right. Let me just pin this too on my end. All right, there we go. So that's pinned. And just to let you know, I do have the premiere edition of StreamYard, like Ski Mask likes to brag, except I don't keep emphasizing that I had to pay $25. And hey, how about a Cash App, please? So I can have 10 guests at one time. What you know about that, Skiwi? Could you imagine 10 people screaming at each other? Yeah, right. But we're not going to have any of that. All right, so I've got the invitation to the StreamYards pinned up. All right, looks like we have our first guest here, and I am aware who that individual is. Obviously, I can see who they are, so you will be invited up to the panel. Thank you for doing that. Just give me 1 second to just clear a few things, guest, and you will be up here just shortly. All right, and welcome. Our guest is labeled as Linda. Good evening, Ms. Shaneberg. I think you're showing muted right now, but good evening. Take your time.
Sorry, I'm
No
not very
worries.
good at IT stuff.
It's all right.
Listen, I don't really care what people say. I know the truth. I know what happened. I have been harassed by this person. I wouldn't even call him a person for over 3 years. He has made me fearful. He has made me scared. He has made me put things around my house to protect myself and my family because I think he's too much of a coward to come to my house and do anything. But I do believe that he has people that he would probably pay, or some of these people are sick enough to probably do things for free. But, I've secured my house now, and I've had to do it because of him. This person has changed my life over 3 years. And if you don't think that he can do it to you, then you're crazy. He can do things from wherever he's at because he has people that are deranged and they're sick to do things for him. And, he's changed my life where I'm very aware of my surroundings now. And I know that he's done this to other people. And that's the reason that I stood up. And I said, you know what? I am tired of being in fear. And I have a lot of evidence against him, but there was only one little part of this case that was to be heard. And it wasn't all the harassment and all the videos and the times he's called me and all these things, the times that I tell you, leave me alone, stop harassing me, stop calling me. None of that could be brought into this. This was just about one little snippet of the 3 years of torture and terror that he has put me through. And I know he's done this to other people. What I would say to you is, if he does it to you and your family, then you need to document every single time that he does it. Time, date, when he does it, phone numbers, video him, whatever you have to do. You know, a very large percentage of the stuff, the evidence that I had, it couldn't be used, but it didn't mean that it didn't happen. And I know that it's happened to a lot of people. And the sick part about this is that people pay to watch him terrorize people. People pay to watch him make people in fear. And it is something that I can't even explain. The terror and fear that he has put into me. But the time that I decided I was going to go after him, I was going to stand up, and I still felt fear from him, but I said, he's not going to keep doing this to me. I'm going to fight back. I'm going to fight back. I'm going to fight back. And it is what it is. You know, the law is the law. And what people don't realize is 98% of all the terror that he put me through had nothing to do with all of this. It was this very, very small percentage that they were focusing on. And it is what it is. But you know what? He was put on notice by the state of Florida. And he, for 2 years of his life, he probably was wondering, what's going to happen? Could I go to jail? Yes. I mean, it was on the table. I was not going to plea bargain with anything. I said, I want jail time on the table. I said, I don't care if he spends 1 day in jail, or it could have been up to a year. Mandatory mental health counseling. Absolutely. He needs it. He needs it no matter what. Mandatory evaluation, mental health evaluation. Remove his weapons from the house. He's a dangerous person, I think. To me, in my opinion, he is. So that's about it. You having fun with your cigarette?
Oh shit, am I live?
Yeah.
Oh fucking A. I don't
But you know,
give me 1 sec.
It's been one hell of a ride, and I decided that I was not going to keep putting up with it. And you know, when I filed the restraining order, I put the truth in there. I put what he was doing to me. And he did. He violated the restraining order. He violated the restraining order. He contacted me after he was served. But, you know.
So, Ms. Shaneberg, currently, do you have a restraining order against him, an active restraining order against this individual?
No.
Okay. I was just confused about the kind of the background a little bit of how this, came into context the first time, which I guess it sounded like he had broken. I guess, I mean, in this case, if this had been going on
He
for 2 years.
He violated the restraining order.
Okay.
He did.
Okay.
And, listen, first of all, I will tell you, it's not an easy task to get a restraining order entered in the first place. It is very difficult. A judge does not just grant it just to grant it. Just because I say something, you have to bring proof, and it has to be believable. And I got a temporary. And but he still continued to contact me after he was served in Miami-Dade County. He was served. And what I think was really disgusting was there were 2 officers, and he YouTubed it all because he doesn't care. He has no respect, 0 respect for police officers. And he YouTubed the whole thing while they were serving him. He has no respect for the laws. And to be honest, when people are served a restraining order, it should be a very serious thing. If you're served a restraining order, that means that you're doing something wrong. They're not just going to go and randomly give you a restraining order. It just doesn't happen that way. So, as I said, it's not an easy thing to get in the first place. But after he was served, he did contact me the next day on his YouTube channel. And look, I know diddly squat about IT. I know diddly squat about YouTube. I barely even know how to put the damn mic on. To be honest, I'm not familiar with all this stuff. But he did contact me on his YouTube channel. I don't know about you, but as far as I know, I have one email address. So how would anybody else send an email from his email address with his logo on it? Tell me.
Right. I mean, an email address is kind of I mean, is
I
kind
mean
of
on YouTube. I don't mean just the email. I'm talking about on YouTube.
Oh, the YouTube channel. Okay.
From his YouTube channel. Yeah, he sent me an email.
Okay.
And this all started, and I don't care what anybody else says. Okay. This is my experience. This is what happened to me. Okay. He threatened me a long time ago. I did. I called the FBI. Believe it or not, at 2 FBI agents. My boyfriend, I was sleeping, and I reported to the FBI. You think the FBI just comes to your house just because they want to come to your house because they think, oh, yeah, let me just randomly go to this person's house. Yeah, 2 FBI agents were at my friggin' door. I thought he was kidding. I was like shocked. Yeah, I reported what he did and said to me. And I don't know about the police and the FBI, but I think they're 2 different animals. And I don't think the FBI plays around.
Well, right now they have that big deal about the whole, that cyber division that they're, have access online to people that are victims of that to, fill out and hopefully get some type of assistance because I know it is difficult interstate type of cases, and I know it is difficult about restraining orders. I know you're probably not very familiar, maybe you are about this channel, but we've already covered 2 other court cases, and one of them has to deal with an individual that has multiple restraining orders against them from other individuals. And I've spoken with a lot of victims personally that have restraining orders, and I know it is a very difficult process to get through. And like you said, I agree with you on the point that once that process goes through, it's because it has been taken. Obviously, a judge has to sign off on that. I'm sure you had one sign off on yours, even with the temporary one. So obviously a judge or somebody in the court of law has to take it serious enough.
A judge.
To sign off on that, to say, yes, I am going to approve, this restraining order, in your case, a temporary restraining order against this individual. They're just not going to sign off on it just because somebody said so. That's crazy. People be going after each other in broken relationships saying he said, she said, so there's a reason why those go through a judge and they have to be approved by one, because he does review the information and gives, that gives him an idea of the context behind everything, and that's where he makes his decision from. So if he approves one, it's because the judge himself is pretty much afraid for your life and feels that you need a restraining order against an individual. So
I've been afraid. I have been afraid of him. I have. And I think I still am. But you know what? I think I'm more equipped now, we'll just say, to deal with, and the thing is that I have seen a video or a YouTube video where he says no matter what the outcome of the case is, he's going to retaliate against me. It's already out there. So, you know what? I've been around the sun 60 years, so, you know.
Right. Did you
I
see
don't know
the
what
reactions
I don't
from
know
him
what
today? I don't know if you caught those reactions from what he was kind of saying.
I had no desire to even
Okay, no, and
remotely look at
I
him.
understand that. The reason I asked was just it shows that this individual doesn't care. Pretty much, that's all I wanted to.
Well,
just asking.
He's I'm not a doctor, but I've dealt with this for 3 years, and he definitely has some very serious issues, serious, deep-rooted issues. And the people that watch him and donate, the more that he tortures somebody, the more that he makes someone in fear, the more that he called me and harassed me over and over and over, even if I asked him to stop and said, why you keep doing this? And it's the craziest thing. I just, how many times do you have to say stop? How many times do you have to say, leave me alone, stop doing this, stop calling me, stop harassing me? But you see, none of this none of this could be shown today, unfortunately. But I think I'm more equipped after surviving this for 3 years that there is a chance he's going to retaliate. And you know what? All I can say is I think I'm prepared. And you know, I don't
Hey,
know
Linda.
what else to say. This has been the craziest experience. I don't understand it. I don't understand a lot of this YouTube stuff. I only came on here because I saw you in court. And to be honest, I don't know you from anybody.
Okay.
I don't know any of these people, but all I can say is you know what? You had the guts to show up, and I can't think of anybody else since this guy's been on YouTube, and he's gotten pretty bad, and I'd say in the last 2 or 3 years, he's gotten pretty bad. But nobody seems to be able to, or I guess have the guts to stand up to him.
Me,
No one.
I will. Hey, Linda.
Linda, this is I guess guest Vernon. I personally don't know you, so welcome to the panel.
No, Linda, but I am the person who introduced Ganval into trolling and cyber harassment. So I am probably 80% responsible for the harassment that you have gotten against him. And I just wanted to say one thing. A lot of people in chat keep saying stuff about, oh, SJC terrorizes people all the time. This isn't about him. Whether or not SJC harasses people or terrorizes them literally does not invalidate anybody else's harassment or terrorism. A pedophile can actively say it's not okay to have sex with children while having sex with children. That does not invalidate him in his point saying that it's a bad thing. So I just wanted to point that out. And also, I'm not going to apologize to you because that's just not my thing, and I'm sorry about not apologizing. But I will say that everything he did to you is almost 100% my fault. And in fact, I am probably, I am the reason that he got into trolling. But I'm the reason that several of the phone calls happened. But also, I have a lot of recordings. You said that it was like a niche thing that made it so that you could press charges against him. And I'm really wondering what that is, because I have a lot of recordings that were never aired of our harassment against you.
I have no idea I don't know what you're saying, niche.
Well, you said it was like a very specific circumstance that made it so that you could go after him legally.
I don't know. When did I say this?
Oh. Well, maybe you didn't say it exactly like that, but you said something like, he did a lot of harassment, but there was one specific thing out
So
of
what are
all
you
of the
trying to ask,
harassment.
Vernon? What's a simpler way to ask it if she doesn't understand it?
Like if you didn't have evidence, like if you didn't have evidence of something.
Oh, okay. I think I get it. So, Linda, I think what he's saying, and maybe if I'm wrong, was you were kind of explaining earlier something about that. I guess this was only there was a lot more stuff that was out there, but this was the only piece that was only, I guess,
Things
allowed in
you don't
court.
even
Is
know
that
about.
correct? And why was only that little piece and not the other stuff?
Oh, this little piece today?
Right. Why wasn't the other stuff allowed or in court, or
because it all happened? Because it all happened prior to the restraining order.
Okay, I understand.
But wouldn't all that other stuff be considered harassment though? I know that's only grounds for a restraining order, but I think it's still against the law, right?
That's the reason I got part of the restraining order was
makes
because
sense.
of all that. But the reason for today was because he violated it. That's it. That he still contacted me after he was served. So unfortunately, yeah, he got off today. He got off today. But yeah, and I wish it would have happened differently because I've put in over 2 years of my life and a lot of sleepless nights and just being in fear of all of this, not knowing the outcome of what he is capable of. But you know what? Nobody can sit here and tell me that it didn't bother him for 2 years.
No, people can. People are dumb. They can definitely say that.
That he say it again.
No, they can definitely believe that. People are dumb. If you read New Jersey or whatever NJCOURTS, if you read his chat, people drink the Kool-Aid. Like, no, people can believe that.
I'm sure for 2 years he's probably been. I'm sure it had to be in the back of his head, even as twisted as it is. And that's my opinion.
No, I 100% agree. I think that in the back of his head, he's like, "Damn it! Even if I had to spend 2 weeks in jail, that would be hell."
I don't think that guy could even last a day in jail after just looking at him, to be honest with you. But that's just my opinion.
Listen, I couldn't spend an hour in jail. I don't know. I would freak out. I don't. First of all, I wouldn't put myself in that position. But
Linda, you just gotta fuck up the biggest person you see right away, and then you're fine. Just a little bit of a palate cleanser, guys, because I have some more work to do on the old fucking bathroom here. Thanks for having me on and everything. Thanks, Linda, and thanks, Vernon. Vernon, I'm a nice guy. Don't ever come after me. I'm a nice, positive guy.
Well, what I'm saying is, for 2 years, he had to have had this in the back of his head that could I possibly go to jail for a day? Could I lose my freedom? Could I lose my ability to own a weapon? Yes, it was all on the table.
Linda, why do you have so many weapons?
Say it again.
Why have you got so many weapons?
Listen, if you wanna, start, I'll just hang up. That's it. I just want to tell you.
No. Sorry.
You don't have to ask why people are afraid.
It has nothing to do. It has nothing.
If somebody feels like they need a weapon, they don't have to justify their.
I don't have to justify anything. This has nothing to do with that. This has to do with someone who's been torturing me for 3 years. Okay, and let me tell you something. I don't know what your name is, but let me tell you something. Please look at me while I'm talking to you and take it serious. Excuse me. Would you? I don't have to come and do this, okay? I'm trying to do this to tell you how screwed up of a situation that this could be, excuse me, for your mother or your sister or your daughter or your niece. Okay, put yourself in my position. This could be your female family member, and I want to know how you would handle it. Tell me. How would you handle it if I was your sister or your mother? Tell me.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
I
How
actually
would
only
you like it if I was your mother and he was doing this to your mother? What would you do?
so
Go ahead.
I actually only came on to comment on NJ Courts' demeanor in the trial. Excellent
No,
job,
I'm
NJ.
just asking you a general
Excellent job,
question.
NJ Courts. The fact that you gave space and sat in the back row, that's very cool. I saw you respect the cops. You thank them for your service. You were quiet the whole time. The only reason I came on the panel was just to say excellent job. Anyone that hasn't been in a court situation, NJ Courts does an absolutely excellent job in being. I don't even know this Granville dude, but
I don't either.
excellent demeanor in the courthouse. Excellent stream. Keep it going, buddy.
Thanks, Dick. I appreciate it, buddy.
You got it, bucko.
Appreciate your support, bucko.
Well, I guess he won't answer the question.
Oh well, he's
I
it's
don't
a
care.
panel, so
I
Linda,
want
I
to.
can't control if they can answer it or not. But
I
Can
want to
I-
know if
can I say
I were
something?
your mom or your sister.
Can I kind
Would
of
you be
respond to
okay
that
with it?
before you? Because I came on here saying that what SJC does has no bearing on whether or not somebody else does something.
Listen, what I already said, I don't want to discuss that. This is about what has happened
My question
with this
is,
with this individual for the last 3 years and what the result was today. And the thing is, he was not held accountable for 99% of everything.
no, he wasn't.
It
Do you
was
think
just,
he would know who you were if SJC wasn't going around pulling a gun out of his backpack?
oh my God.
all
Yeah, I
right,
didn't
hey,
think
so Vernon, I'm gonna ask for respect. Yeah,
Jesus
he's
Christ.
gone.
It's
I
like,
guess.
see, this
he
is
didn't wanna
why
talk anymore.
YouTube is so screwed up. This is why YouTube is so screwed up. Because people just can't have respect. And I don't want to talk about anything else except this. And that was the only reason I came on. And I'm sure I'm probably going to get a lot of BS and all this stuff. I don't really care. It's just I don't want to be contacted by him ever again. But I do know that he's already said, as I already stated, there will be some retaliation. But you know, I don't know what to say. All I can say is I would hope that he would be smart enough not to. That's all I can say.
All right, Miss Shaneberg. Well, like I said, we were gonna play the second part, which is, obviously the part that your involvement's in. But out of respect, I was gonna, do a little bit of editing and censor your face out.
I
I
don't
don't know
care.
if that.
It's this has put me through for a long time, and you know
Well,
what?
if you don't mind, I can play it then this evening,
I don't really care.
Okay.
I don't really care. It is what it is. I have nothing.
I will tell you this. I commend you for coming up as a witness and doing what you are, because regardless of what my opinions can be, like I said, I just provide court coverage. But I will say this, out of my opinion, I respect anybody that's willing to do what you did, because I have a lot of people that reach out to me as far as victims. And I tell them one of the things that is going to solve any problem or get something going is reporting it. And people can sit there and say things, they can talk about it, but if they don't actively do anything, nothing's going to be done. And
Well,
even if
he's still going to continue to do this, people, and I'll tell you, I know I had someone contact me that he was harassing, and I said, well, I'm sorry, you have to have the guts to, you have to document everything, every single incident. You have to file a police report for every single incident, and this is the way that you're going to be able to get someone like him. One day he is going to do this to the wrong person. He's going to do it to the wrong person one day. And you know what? That he thinks he's smart, but he's not that smart. He's gonna mess with the wrong person one day and cross the wrong person by this harassment and trying to just mentally hurt somebody and getting donations over it. And I'm sure you're getting donations over this. I could really care less. I'm just here to say the truth. But guess what? I think eventually, time will catch up with him continuing to do this to people. And I know I am not the first, I'm not the last, but we'll see what happens. But I'm glad that I did it. It was a long 2 years, strenuous, just I can't even tell you how sickening that it all made me. Just you guys, you only know one little percentage of what occurred, and it is what it is. It was more like a little formality that he got off on, and that's it. And that's because, you know why? He's a coward. He's a coward. You know why? Because, you know what? Call me with your phone number. Call me with your name on there. Otherwise, you're a coward. And that was the only way he got away with it. And that's it. But guess what? He's going to make a mistake one day. And we all make mistakes because we're all human. But I think one day he's going to make a mistake. And, this is YouTube. It's live. And how many people every day see all this stuff? So,
well, yeah, I get probably 20 messages minimum every day of clips being sent to me of all sorts of different individuals and a lot of sick and vile shit they do on the internet. So I know, I can tell you firsthand.
Well,
all right, well, Miss Shaneberg,
but
if
anyway.
yeah, no, I like I said, I appreciate you coming up as a guest on the panel show. I know it's tough, especially after, you went through what today was a lot of emotional stuff. And I appreciate you coming up. And I think a lot of people, especially victims of this individual, most definitely appreciate having somebody come up and talk about what happened and pretty much be a voice for them, I would say. So I commend you for that. And I wish you the best of luck. I wish you, that you're not bothered anymore by this individual. And I think you're probably fully aware of what legal rights you have in the event that you are contacted again.
Oh, I was already advised of it today. So, and to respect the law, and that's what the law says. And it wasn't anything that I think I could have done different, because if I could have, we would have been in a different situation today. And my deal was I was not going to plea bargain. Nope. I said, if it goes to it, I want a jury trial, and I want peers I want his peers, if you could say that, to make the decision and decide what his fate was. But so we'll see. Time will tell. I just never want to hear his name again. I never want him to contact me or my family again. And that's it. I'm done. And hey, that's it. But I'm glad that I did it, and I would do it all over again. And I would definitely just, I don't think there's anything I could have done, because he's a coward. He didn't use his real phone number. But that's what cowards do. So
I understand. I understand, definitely. And you know what? Unfortunately, when you're behind a computer screen thousands of miles away from the victims you harass, it's easy to be a coward. And hopefully, that's one of the reasons that I do this court channel is, it's meant to expose a lot of these flaws in the court system that allows some of these cowards to get away with this. And right now, this month, we've been focusing on the cyberbullying and cyber stalking. The previous court coverage was with a gentleman named Ski Mask Andy. who's literally probably one of the biggest cyber stalkers and bulliers on the internet right now. He literally makes death threats every day on his YouTube channel, every day. And he's gotten multiple of his channels striked, and he just jumps from one channel to another, and YouTube is aware of it. So that's why we're bringing these things into light. And like you said, in this case, hey, we move on, right? I think that's probably the best advice I could give anybody that's gone through something like this, like you have, is just, we live, we learn, and we move on. And sometimes it's just better to put things in the past, but be proactive, like you said. Always watch your six. Always know that there could be possibly a threat, and be careful and be aware. But always, move on, right? Why are we going to spend the rest of our life thinking about some shithead that, obviously has nothing better else to do except, get off on harassing people? Today, they were found not guilty, and not even found not guilty. Didn't even go to a jury trial. They just didn't allow the evidence to go through.
No, it's not that he was
to go forward. So I mean,
guilty of a lot of stuff.
there was no not guilty or guilty, because it
No.
never went to trial. So
It was more of a technical thing.
Right.
And
well, we're gonna watch the second half. I think a lot of people see exactly,
Okay.
and I think they'll kind of have a better understanding of what you were trying to communicate, especially with the second part, where your testimony comes in. So with your permission, and like you said, I would like to play that this evening, and I appreciate you doing that and letting us play it. So thank you so much. And I think a lot of people have more understanding as far as where you're coming from when you explain about the technical difficulty, and it was frustrating. I will say that I can see where you're definitely frustrated, and so was the prosecutor. You could see he was pretty upset. He was pretty adamant about, I would say, I don't know the guy, but just by his emotions and looking at his face, he seemed pretty upset about the whole situation himself too. So,
all of that stuff happened, but it had nothing to do with, this little 1%, and it is what it is. So I would do it all over again if I had to, because he's eventually one day he will. So I don't know what else to say.
All right, Ms. Shaneberg. Well, I'll let you go. I think you've given us a lot of information, and like I said, I don't want to drag you out and put this person's name more into your life. So,
I'm done. This is it. I'm going to sleep, and that name and thoughts will never be in my head again. And my thoughts anymore. This is it. It's done. 2 years, and it's like this is a part of the past for me, and that's it. It's gone.
All right. Well, good luck with you. And again, I appreciate you coming up on the panel. And if you ever have any questions or need to reach out or contact me, the best way is through Instagram or through my channel.
I'm not on this. I don't do any of this.
Well, don't worry about it then. Hopefully you never need to contact me then again. So
no.
All right, Ms.
I don't want to contact anybody. I don't even go on YouTube. I'm just
probably the best thing. That would be my advice. If you don't need it, you don't like it, hey, stay
I
off
don't
of
need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. I just people just that's it.
Sorry, you cut out a little bit there, Miss Shaneberg, so we didn't catch the last bit that you said.
I said people just have to stand up. That's it.
Hey, I agree with you.
You can't put up with this crap anymore. And whatever. I don't care what anybody says. I know what happened. All righty. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Miss Shaneberg. You have a nice evening.
You too.
Take care. Bye now. All right, y'all. That was the panel show for this evening. We're going to go ahead and continue with the rest of the court coverage. Per Miss Shaneberg's permission, I'll go ahead and play the rest of the video. That was just going to be the only editing I was going to do, is just going to blur out her face a little bit, just because it does get kind of emotional during the court coverage, and I did want to be respectful. But with that being said, let me just make sure I have the clip available. Like I said, it was a long clip. I don't know if I've cleared the audio. So if we do play it and the audio is kind of not acceptable, I mean, you're going to hear it. But like I said, I haven't ran it through an editor that takes out some of that white noise or background noise. So there is going to be a little bit of it. So, you know, once I clean it up, there'll be a better version that you can listen to. But just for right now, since we've obviously seen the first part, and, you know, it just makes sense to play the second part. That way, you know, there's just not that little bit of space where, you know, maybe we get confused. Maybe we start forgetting a lot of the facts of the case. So let me just make sure I have it available. Whatever copy it me, I think I did run it through that sound editor yet. I had so much stuff editing today, I can't even remember. But let me just see. Either way, I do have a copy of it. It's just whether it had the background sound or not. Let's see here. I think I do. Let's just go back here. Oops. Yeah. Let's go back here. Go back here. All right, it's downloading right now under the StreamYard link. So we'll have it up here in a few minutes. So thank you guys for your patience on that. And while we're waiting, I'd just like to kind of address the chat and say thank you guys for everybody participating. Thank you, the mods. I know it's chat is pretty big chat today, so I appreciate all the hard work from the mods and all the bailiffs. But for the most part, I think everybody's been really respectful. So thank you so much for keeping it respectful. See, when we're respectful, we can have good discussions, okay? We can have panel discussions like this. We can bring up guests, okay? We learn a lot from this. It's when you got the people that want to mess around and, you know, put the little ding-a-lings on and stuff. It's, you know, and we don't do that shit here. So I wasn't worried about it. I know everybody's real respectful that watches the channel and that comes up. So I appreciate all our panel guests that came up, and I appreciate Ms. Shaneberg. I wasn't expecting her to join in on the chat today. So I think we got a great insight from the individual that was right there. You're going to see her, you know, she was one of the witnesses in this case. She was the person that you're going to hear that's been sworn and is going to be on the witness stand there, talking and getting cross-examined. I mean, this case had cross-examination. You have discovery evidence being put in place. You have witness statements, a lot to learn. Like I said, I know a lot of people are just may not even know who the characters are in this case and are just more watching for the court procedure to learn something new. I know a lot of people here know exactly who everybody that was part of this court hearing and is here just for that. So a lot of different people are here for a lot of different reasons, but whatever it may be, like I said, this is what this channel does, is provide that court coverage for you guys. So again, that's all with the support of the channel members. Thank you all so much. And with the support of all the donators, you guys are the ones that made this coverage happen. And I'm really, you know, happy that we were able to provide it all tonight. Like I said, you know, I didn't really want to split it into 2 days, but I was going to do it, like I said, to be respectful. But we've obviously got permission from Ms. Shaneberg. So we're going to go ahead and roll with the rest of the footage. So that way we can just continue on with the complete rest of the trial coverage. So I appreciate Ms. Shaneberg allowing us to do that this evening. Let me just see if it's already been loaded up. And once it is, we're just going to get right to it. Oh, I didn't even notice. It's already the next day over here on the East Coast. Well, happy, what is it, Wednesday for some of us. All right, so let me start this here. Okay, so again, this is going to be let's see here. It's about a 40-minute, more than 40-minute minute clip, okay? Again, I will not be speaking over it. If you do decide to support and help the channel, want to make a donation, I will definitely shout you out after the clip, but I'm sorry, I just do not want to speak over this. But like I said, I will definitely shout you out after the clip if you decide you'd like to donate. Without further ado, here we go.
Chamber to the stand for the purposes of the event. You can come right here.
Please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Please state your name and spell your last name for the record.
Linda Margaret Shainberg, SCHAINBERG.
Okay. Please sit down, relax, state. If you have a question, you can ask.
Good morning, Ms. Shainberg.
Good morning.
So let's get started with, why are we here today?
We are here today because Mr. Witt, William Witt, however you want to refer to him, violated my restraining order that I had by contacting me.
Okay, so let's start with the restraining order.
Okay.
Why did you put a restraining order against Mr. Witt?
This goes back to probably beginning of 3 years ago. He's been contacting me on the phone, calling me.
Let's start with the actual date.
All I'm interested in is the authentication for the motion of the meeting.
Yes, Your Honor. So then, on which date did you put a restraining order forward?
It was, I'll have to look at it. I can't remember the exact date.
Would seeing the restraining order refresh your memory?
Yes, please.
Commissioner, approach opposing counsel.
Yeah.
Commissioner, approach the witness stand. Please look over this page. And when you're able to refresh your memory, please look up at me and I'll collect the papers.
This was the date I just nervous. Once again, this timeframe is trying to only notification.
Right now, there's no question, so she's just reading. When she's done reading, she can hand it back.
Can I keep this here?
No.
No?
Give it back to me.
Sorry.
Thank you. Was that helpful to refresh your memory?
Yes.
And on what date did you file the restraining order?
I filed it on the 29th, but I believe that they stamped it on the 30th. I was there. I had to come later that day. I came that morning.
I'm not asking the day in which it
Oh,
was.
I'm sorry.
So I'm asking the day in which you first began putting the restraining order forward, that you went and filed it?
I believe it was on the 21st that was on there that he,
Okay, and then at that point on the 21st,
April 21st.
and then you received another date. What was that other date for?
The other date was when I came to the courthouse in person to get the judge to continue the temporary restraining order that I had.
Okay, and on what date was that?
That was April 29th, 2020.
Okay. So on April 29th, at what time were you in front of the judge?
I believe it was, it was delayed, so we had a certain time that we were supposed to be here, but we were waiting outside. And I had a little delay because my alarm went off at my house, so I was caught downstairs.
Oh, what's your objection?
Objection, narrative, we're still dealing with the time.
Overruled.
Continue.
Oh, sorry. When I came to the front doors, my alarm at my house had gone off, and then I got a call from ADT, and I said, look, I'm here at the Broward County Court.
Sustained this time. You can continue answering follow-up.
Okay.
Let's
So anyway.
go back to my question. Around what time did the hearing start that day?
I believe it was set to start at like 11:30, but the actual time that we came in here, I don't know the actual time because we were told to turn our phones off.
Okay. So who was the hearing in front of?
It was, oh my God. I'm so nervous. My mind is blank right now. I'm trying to think if it was Judge Epstein. No, I can't remember.
You can't, we're looking at the injunction?
Yes, it was.
Refresh your memory.
This has been how long ago? I'm trying to.
Permission to approach opposing counsel.
Sure.
Thank you, Your Honor. Motion to approach the witness, Your Honor?
Sure.
Thank you. Once your memory is refreshed, just look up at me and hand me back the paper.
Oh, sorry. So this was the first one.
Wait.
Oh,
Are you done
sorry.
reading it?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay. Is your memory refreshed?
Just remind me the question was this in front of what judge was.
Oh, I'm sorry, Counsel. Sorry.
Can you please hand it back?
Judge.
At this point, is your memory refreshed?
Yes.
So in front of what judge was the hearing?
The very first hearing was a Zoom hearing with Judge Kaplan, and then we had one here at the courthouse.
Okay, and then we're talking about the extension of the temporary injunction.
Okay.
Okay, what happened with the temporary injunction?
I got the temporary injunction when I did the paperwork that day. Then I came back later that day, about 6 p.m., and then I found out, I got the paper that it was granted a temporary injunction.
Okay, but on the 29th for the temporary injunction?
Yes.
What happened that day with Judge Kaplan?
So I entered the courthouse, and I told you all that. I got off of the elevator, and as soon as I got off of the elevator, I received...
Objection, Judge, she stated earlier that was Zoom, not on the 29th, not in the written.
Overruled. So on the 29th, you were there, the extension happened. What happened when you got off the elevator?
I got off of the elevator here, and the moment I got off of the elevator, my phone, I showed I had a text. And I saw Mr. Witt, and he was over here in one of these benches, and I get a text, and I was already...
Just take your time.
I was already scared to be here in the courthouse, but when I got off of the elevator and saw that text, I was really terrified, because he texted me that he's going to win. You know, he always wins.
Okay, and when you received that text message, how did you know that text message was from Mr. Witt?
Who else would send me a text like that Ganval always wins, that I'm going to lose? And to me, when I see that someone puts on there that I'm here for a court hearing for a temporary injunction to get it extended, when it says that you're going to lose, a lot of things ran through my head.
Take a moment. So take a moment.
I don't know what he was capable of doing when you text someone that I'm going to lose. What does that mean?
I understand. So now in this moment, you stated the name Ganval. So who is Ganval?
That's Mr. Witt. That's his, I suppose, screen name on YouTube.
Okay, so how do you know that that's his screen name on YouTube?
Because he has called me live on YouTube.
Objection, Judge, the narrative about April 29th.
So how do you know that's his screen name on YouTube?
Because for over a year, he called me on my cell phone and announced that it was his name, William Witt. He's like, this is William Witt Ganval. And he announced himself, and he has called me so many times I can't even tell you, and just constantly calling me. And I would always say, why do you keep calling me? Please stop calling me. Please stop harassing me. But he said his name. He said his name. And I may be older, but I kind of figured out a little technology. And I got my boyfriend, Brent's.
Objection, Judge, there's no question in his narrative.
I got my boyfriend, his legal name is James, but Brent's cell phone, and I said, give me your cell phone. And I saw him on YouTube, and he said, oh, I'm going to call Linda. And I was thinking in my own head, how do I do this? And I said, Brent, give me your phone. And I videoed
Let's take a
him.
moment. Let's take a moment before we get into that. I want to ask you first.
If you could stay away from the case and just stick to the authenticating
Yes, Your Honor.
text message.
So that's what I'm trying to get back to right now. At this moment, how did the defendant have your number?
I don't know, I guess on YouTube, it's called doxing. Like, I really know what all this stuff is, but it's called doxing, and they post your information, your name, your date of birth, sometimes your social, your address, your phone number, and
So hold on right there, are you saying the defendant doxed you?
Oh, yes, he has put my information out there where I live. And to me, that's very dangerous.
Okay, so then going back to this message, if I were to show you this message, would you recognize it?
Yes.
Commissioner Approach Posting Council,
Sure.
Thank you. Commissioner Approach the witness, Your Honor?
Sure.
Do you know what this is?
I'm sorry. Yes.
And how do you know what it is?
That's my handwriting.
Okay, and as to the picture itself, what is that?
That's the text when I got off of the elevator. At 12:18 p.m. And it says, Linda, you won't win this court case against me today. Gamble always wins.
Is this a true and accurate copy of the message you received on April 29, 2021?
Yes.
Have there been any additions or deletions to the message? The state moves to enter what has been previously marked as Exhibit A into evidence as State's Exhibit 1, Your Honor.
For the purpose of the motion amendment.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm objecting, Judge, may I cross on this?
You'll have your opportunity to cross, but I'm going to,
I'm objecting.
let me see this.
The purpose is to both of us should see, Your Honor.
She already testified what he said, so it's in evidence. It doesn't matter what the piece of paper says.
Yes, Your Honor.
Overruled, I'll let that be in evidence for the purpose of the motion.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any other questions?
At this point, no, Your Honor.
Okay, do you have any questions at all?
I'm sorry, Judge, don't confer is going to streamline the questions.
few questions then. You stated that on the 29th, when you received this text, when you got off when you got off the elevator, this particular text that's been marked as States Exhibit 1, you stated that you received this as you exited the elevator to come to forth in the building?
Correct, this elevator here.
Okay, so on the 29th, for this particular hearing, get the extension, wasn't that on Zoom with Judge Michael Kaplan?
The first one that we had was a Zoom.
Okay.
And then the second one that we had was here. In the
So this message is from the 29th?
That is from the date that we had the courthouse.
So this is not, this exhibit state 1 that was marked, this is not from June 25th. This is on June 25th?
This is on the 29th.
Okay.
This is the day that we were here at the courthouse.
So I think you're getting them mixed up. The date that you were here on the courthouse was June 25th. The date of this hearing was on the 29th. To get it extended was on Zoom.
No, that text is from when I got off of the elevator here. I distinctly remember that day.
Okay. So, and you're saying this is on the 29th, that was on Zoom?
It was the day that I got off of the elevator that we had the hearing here in the courthouse.
So that hearing that you had here in the courthouse, that was the date that the judge asked questions and you guys testified and he denied the hearing? I'm sorry, I misspoke, I apologize. That he denied and dismissed the petition for the injunction. That's the same day, that's June 25th, correct?
I believe it was, but that was on April 29th.
All right, so here's my next question. So this, you stated earlier in your testimony that Mr. Witt had called you numerous times. Has he ever called you? I apologize. You stated that he called you many times. You stated that earlier, correct? Yes or no?
Oh, yes, over about a 2.5-year period.
So all of those calls, or just specifically on the 29th, which is what we're discussing here today, did any of those calls come from this phone number? This 954, the 754-400-4690?
Probably. He
So did
used
you provide
an array of phone numbers.
Okay, so
Ask your leading question.
okay, so when you provided the state attorney's office with text messages, how many did you provide from this phone number?
I don't know.
From this
I don't
particular
know.
phone?
I do not know. There was
So
a
it's
stack
more than-
about 3 or 4 inches high.
Okay.
You're done answering that question. She answered the question, you can move on.
So you don't know if it was just this single one?
As I stated, Mr. Witt has used an array of numbers.
Okay, I'm only talking about this phone number. 754-400-4690.
He may have.
But to your knowledge, this is the only one from this phone number.
I can't hear you.
For your knowledge, this is the only one from this particular phone number.
As I stated, when I gave all the information, there were probably 50 or 60 different numbers. That is the number that he texted me from when I got off of the elevator because I saw him here in the hallway looking at me.
Okay, so how did you know that this text message came from Mr. Witt?
Who else had an interest in scaring me when I get off of the elevator here for a court date?
Okay, so
or intimidating me?
Okay, so here's my other question. You were watching his YouTube before? Have you seen him on YouTube before?
I have seen him on YouTube.
Okay, you've seen multiple people watching him on YouTube, correct?
Have I seen people watching him?
Like they post things, correct?
No.
So you're the only person that has seen him when you're watching him on YouTube?
I don't know a lot about it, but
So have you read any posts when he's speaking on YouTube of all the people with the comments? Have you read any of those comments on his post?
I don't really particularly read them. The reason...
So you just go on the YouTube just to watch it?
Objection, Your Honor.
No.
If the witness can answer the question.
Okay, and it also is not relevant.
Well, it goes,
It-
okay, I'll move on, Judge. Okay, so you're saying that there was no other person who would be able to, it's your testimony, that no one else would have an interest in this particular matter? That's your testimony, correct? Because you're saying it was him. So what about all the other, well, here's my question. What about all the other people?
Objection, Your
That
Honor. The
watch
witness wasn't
this.
able to answer the question.
No, actually, it was asked and answered
Well,
already.
I'm moving on. What about all the other people that watch his channel that knew all about this hearing? Because it's out there, it's public knowledge where there's thousands of people who know about it. That may not like you because
Objection,
they
Your Honor.
like him.
Counsel's testifying.
No, I'm asking a question.
Sustained.
Okay, so there's other people that knew about the hearing. Is that fair assessment, since he's posted it on YouTube?
Because he makes it public.
Okay,
And he
so there
wants
was
the
a lot
court
of,
on public, yes.
okay, so there's a lot of people that know about the hearing, or knew about it, including yourself.
It's public information.
Okay, so there's a lot of people, okay, that's all I need to know. Hang on.
Any other questions?
Oh. Okay, I have one other question. I'm going to show you your affidavit that you wrote on the injunction from earlier.
Objection, relevance.
Yeah, sustained. Do you have a question for
Oh,
me?
yeah, I wanted to show, in case
Just
you
ask
didn't.
her the
Oh, I
question.
asked you the question. On your petition that you wrote for the violations for this April 29th, you wrote that you received this text message while you were on Zoom. Do you recall that?
No, I did not get
Would
that on Zoom.
would you like to see it to refresh
I-
your recollection?
I did not get that on Zoom. I remember distinctly when I got off of the elevator, I came here for that court date. And I already had an intimidation with my ADT going off at the exact time that I opened the front door downstairs. And I did let the judge know, listen, I need to have my phone on because Pembroke Pines Police Department is going to be calling me.
Okay, that was on June 25th.
Okay, can I interrupt one second?
Yes.
Because there's,
I have no other question.
you had mentioned you got the text right after you got out of the elevator.
Correct.
Were you going to court or were you leaving court?
No, I had just gotten here. I had just gotten off of that.
So it was before the hearing?
It was before the hearing, correct.
Okay. Any redirect?
Judge, may I, oh no, I apologize. I don't know.
No redirect at this time, Your Honor.
You should step down, thank you. Did you want to make your argument again?
Yes, Judge.
If you could just make the argument of things that you didn't already go over, because that would be redundant, and I do know your argument from that.
Okay. I'll
But
just
if
make
you'd like
it
to
from
add
the
anything after the testimony, that's fine.
Okay, well, I can, okay.
Well, it's your motion. I'll let you go. I'll let him respond. I'll give you the rebuttal.
Okay. Once again, my argument is that even though the witness testified, that she testified that the restraining order was on the 29th and that this text came on the date of the hearing of the 29th. The Zoom hearing, the hearing on the 29th was on Zoom. It's on her own petition that the court will attach a copy of the petition that the state gave her to review. Her own handwriting says that this happened via Zoom and she received this text via Zoom. The temporary injunction was extended to the 25th. On the 25th is when the petition, they had the hearing and the injunction was dismissed by Judge Kaplan. But once again, Ms. Shainberg has testified that
You're saying it was dismissed on the 25th?
it was dismissed on the 25th.
Okay, but that all goes
Right,
to the case.
Correct. So on the, when we're talking about authenticating this text message, she's testified that she doesn't know where this number comes from. She also testified, she gave the state all of these phone numbers that she thinks came from Mr. Witt. None of these numbers have been authenticated. None of these numbers have been associated with him. We have one text message from this one phone number that she's stating came from him. She's acknowledged that this is a public forum. Everyone that's on this public forum, everything is out there. There's many people who knew about this hearings, who knew about him, know about everything that he does. There's also, with their Ganval name, on this Ganval TV, there's multiple names of people using the same name of Ganval TV. So, or Ganval, there's tons of them. He's not the only one who uses that handle, I think they call it nowadays, I don't know, who uses that identification. He's not the only one. It's very public and used by many people other than Mr.
And actually, the message doesn't have a signature by Ganval. It's referring to Ganval in the message. Do you have the evidence? If you could hand that to me, please.
Oh, the petitions.
Yeah. Just want to keep up.
I know, really, thank you, Judge. I want to careful. So, and going to the case law, the case is very, and I mentioned the case is lawfully following. This case is very, very specific and right on point to this case about authenticating before a person can testify to it as a defendant. It is very specific that testimony that a person received a text or email from another is not sufficient by itself to authenticate the identity of the sender. She has clearly testified that it's a number. She don't know where the number came from. She just assumed it was him. Who else would have an interest in this one? And then she testified that it was very public. The case also talks about that in determining whether or not it's authenticated, it has to be on its own merits. And so we have clear testimony that her authentication of this is it had to be him. And she stated that on several occasions that it had to be him. Anything that happened before the 29th, we're only talking about this one text message from a phone number that can't be authenticated or contributed to Mr. Witt, and any of the other calls have never been attributed to Mr. Witt. Any phone calls that he has made from his phone, he's made from his phone. Any of these phone calls on the 29th, she has one text, and that's it, Judge. So I think that based on this case, it's very specific. It is not enough to say that it's authenticated through the testimony. That is not enough. It's not based on what she stated and what this case law says.
Okay. Counsel.
Your Honor, going off of what we stated beforehand, authentication for the purpose of admission is relatively a low threshold. Here we believe we met a prima facie case as to that low threshold. We believe that because she stated that she was able to, she had multiple previous conversations with him. He had her number. They had been in contact before, and they had been in contact throughout the civil injunction process. Starting with the beginning of the civil injunction and moving forward, he had notice of the injunction. He had a case against her. He's the only one with a case against her. The text message speaks to a case, speaks to that specific case, and that she will not win in court. As you can see, Your Honor, the testimony from the victim also states that the defendant sent the message as she had walked into the court. And
before her hearing with Judge Kaplan.
Yes, Your Honor. And then I would also like to state that because that message was sent, within the message it states Ganval. Ganval is a username or alias of the defendant. The defendant has used that name throughout the civil case and has used that as well as to harass the victim in this case, which shows in the injunction that was placed forward for the temporary injunction. It shows that Ganval is the alias of the defendant. I understand opposing counsel's argument that multiple people can have that user handle, but no one can have the same exact handle. No one can have a carbon copy of the handle. The handle can only be made, and YouTube has to be stated as only one. You can only make variations to the handle, but you can only have one type of that handle. Your Honor, I would also like to argue that within the message, the time frame of that message of when it was sent and when the civil injunction was put in place.
Well, when was the civil injunction in your mind?
The hearing was set to start at around 11:30 is what she testified to.
No. She testified that she received received this before
Before
the
she
hearing
walked
on
in.
the 29th.
And what I'm arguing, Your Honor, is that she received the message in
And
relation
that's
to the
when
same time as the hearing itself.
She received it before she went in.
Yes,
to
Your Honor.
Judge Kaplan.
Yes. That's what's as to her testimony today.
So even though that has nothing to do with authentication, it has to do with your actual case.
Yes, Your Honor. It goes in the context of the case.
I would have assumed this came after, because if it was before, it would have been something dealt with Judge Kaplan.
Yes, Your Honor.
With the whole separate.
Well, I'm speaking as the context for the actual piece of evidence, Your Honor, as to identity. This is, I'm just providing the context in which the evidence was, which the evidence provided to Your Honor was sent within relative same time as the actual hearing, showing the closeness of the defendant and the victim at that time and what that message could be regarding in that moment, which it does regard, you will not win this court case against me. Ganval always wins.
And Judge, may I
Do you have any rebuttal
Yes, Judge.
within the scope of his argument?
Yes. The timing of the hearing was public knowledge to at least 1,000 people who were very well aware of
You made
this.
that argument.
Yeah, well, I'm rebutting what he's saying, that it was so close in time. The whole public knew about this particular hearing. They knew it was between the two of them. They had not been heard.
And Judge, can I briefly address one point? No? Okay.
Okay, based on the case law, Walker v. Harley Anderson, a 2020 District Court of Appeal 4th District case, which is guiding law. The purpose in determining whether the evidence submitted is sufficient for the purpose of authentication, a trial judge must evaluate each instance on its own merits, there being no specific list of requirements. Evidence may be authenticated by appearance, content, substance, internal patterns, or other distinctive characteristics taken in conjunction with the circumstances. In addition, the evidence may be authenticated either by using extrinsic evidence or by showing that it meets the requirements for self-authentication. And it goes into testimony, and her testimony was, who else would it be but him? And in the body of the case, that it actually says that type of answer is not good enough to authenticate a text. Her memory of the event was cloudy. Just putting that on the record, she couldn't remember anything until she read it over again. She never saw that. She doesn't know if she ever saw that number before, and she wasn't familiar with that number. Argument earlier today was that it was a spoof number. And she did testify that in the past, he basically identified himself. Indeed, this he did not. It says, Linda, you won't win this court case against me today. Ganval always wins. Whether that's talking in the first person or third person, hard to tell, but it isn't even his identical name, and he used that in the past. So it seems like, based on everything that's being said and using in evidence that he called previously, she didn't even say when she saw him on the bench by the elevator whether he was texting or not at that point in time. Not that she may have seen it, but there's just nothing that would follow along with this case that would allow this text to be used. As dicta, there's an issue of the timing of it, because she testified that it came before the hearing, and I thought your whole argument for the case was it came after. And I would wonder why this wasn't brought up before Judge Kaplan when she was walking into a hearing about this type of issue. So I am going to grant the motion in limine with respect to not allowing this to be used because it cannot be authenticated. Okay? Anything else? We will get the jury here at 1:30.
Your Honor, the state has an announcement. In this court case, you have the case number in front of you, Your Honor.
211129MM10A.
The state is not able to move forward because it has no legal basis. At this point, the state is announcing a no cross.
All right. That's it. That is the end of that case right there. Let me just get myself up here. Blah, 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 blah. So thank you everybody for your patience. I'm gonna take this earpiece out of my ear. I can't even hear myself. And actually, let me take all that Bluetooth off. I don't know if that sometimes makes an interference sometimes with the stream. Okay, cool. Whoopsie-doo. All right. So anyways, thank you guys for your patience on that. Like I said, that was the longer portion or the second part of the hearing. That was what continued after the first recess. Pretty much, like I said, the judge just went into recess so that they could wait for the witness to arrive and give their testimony, as you heard. So, lot to be said, right? I think for a lot of us that may have not actually even experienced a courtroom experience like that firsthand, you got to see a lot of how that process works and how it doesn't work sometimes, unfortunately. Sometimes, it's all about the details, especially when you're dealing with the court process and a jury trial and evidence. It's all about the details because you have to be able to go on factual evidence. And there are certain things. I don't know if you guys noticed the judge, he was actually reading off another case that he was referring to, or essentially comparing this case to in order to make his decision and how he based it on. The judge is always going to have to explain how they make their decision or how they base it on. Obviously, they need to have some type of basis of their decision, and that's where that came from. So, again, a lot to be said. Everybody's going to have a different opinion from this case. I have my personal opinion as what went wrong and what happened, but I'm not going to really share it because, like I said, this is a court coverage channel. We're here to provide an unbiased, version of what you see in front of you. Sure, I may have my own personal opinions, and, I will share those with you time from time. But like I said, I was just there on the corner, kept my mouth nice and shut, never made any contact or communication with any of the individuals, and was there just to provide the same type of court coverage that any other, if this was some, for example, if this was Britney Spears or somebody of any importance other than some, POS old public figure from YouTube, but a lot of people had a lot of interest in this POS, so they wanted to see it, and that's what we provide you to the coverage with. So, like I said, I'm not a shit channel. We're not a drama bully channel. Once the court coverage is over, like in this case, we move on. But we do expose a lot of things that some people may not realize or see a lot. So, like I said, a lot of people learn how this trial process goes. A lot of people that may have be interested in just this trial itself, these individuals, a lot of people I know are just following these individuals themselves, know a lot about the history between these individuals. So I'm sure you all learned a lot from watching this afternoon or evening or morning now, excuse me, depending on where you're at. But so like I said, yeah, there's going to be a lot of different opinions in chat. I can already see it. So, but I do appreciate everybody that, appreciates the court coverage, because ultimately that's exactly what this channel is here for, is to provide that and expose, a lot of the flaws in the court system and expose a lot of these bad apples, So like I said, you can draw your own decisions on what you think of this individual and who you think they really are. I personally don't want to share too much of mine because, like I said, ultimately this individual has made some pretty serious threats on my family and myself. And if I have to act upon those, I'm not going to have any communication with that individual. So, all right. Well, I know it's late. I'm going to try to catch some sleep. I've got a long day tomorrow. I'm actually going to just be working on editing. So like I said earlier, thank you guys for your patience on that. I know the audio, you can hear a little bit of crackling every once in a while. Like I said, I didn't have a chance to clean that audio. Since, we had permission to go with the video from Ms. Shaneberg, I decided, hey, let's go ahead and play it. That way we had the whole full coverage on one show. And that way, I'm sure people would still remember what we discussed this evening, but makes it a little easier when you get to watch everything just in one shot versus, one part today, one part tomorrow. So thank you guys for your patience on that. Ultimately, I'm going to clean up all the second half of this court hearing. So I'll have a video if anybody's interested. You'd be able to catch the replay on here. But ultimately, if you just want to watch, for example, like the court hearing, I'm just going to have that edited into its own video itself. I'll have it all cleaned up. So that way it'll be, as best of a copy I can get of that court coverage. So thank you for your patience on some of that audio technical difficulty, as they say. But like I said, and you know what? With that other video, when I edit it, what I'm going to do is I had the other camera. A lot of you might not have heard me say that before, but I had another camera set up, and that was pointed over towards the public defender and Mr. Ganval there. So although you could see his reactions, and there weren't any really, just him kind of, with his head down pretty much. He's too embarrassed to even look at the eyes of the victim. He's a piece of shit. He knows it. But, like I said, I do have the coverage, or excuse me, the second camera is actually zoomed in. So you can see his face really good. So, hey, I saw some people in the comments saying he was claiming he was waving and smiling and saying, fuck no. That dude had his head fucking down the whole time like a little, what. So you'll get to see that because I know tonight he's probably going, oh, yeah, he's not going to show my face. He's not going to show my face because I was all smiling at him. And fuck no. We got your fucking fugly ass face all zoomed in, bro. We can even see all your little zits and leather ass over fucking tan skin. So, yeah, we'll get that cleaned up. And like I said, I'll do it like a dual screen, I'll have one half showing the court coverage and one half showing just his face. So I'll clean it up. I'll have a nice clip tomorrow. It'll be a long clip that if anybody's interested in just having the court coverage, you'll be able to have that for yourself. So, but yeah, without further ado, we'll go ahead and say our bye-byes, our good nights. And I may or may not have a show tomorrow, being that we did already show the second half. I will, put out the clip once that's available. Maybe I'll do that as like an instant premiere. So that way there's like a live chat. I've never played with that. I guess with these like instant premieres, it's kind of like going live, but you're not live. It's just your videos live. So that way the chat's got like a live chat going on. So, we can do something like that. That'll be really cool. But yeah, we'll get that. As soon as that clip's ready, I'll get that posted up. And like I said, maybe or may not have a show tomorrow. It just depends on, how my time looks and with my schedule and all. And but if we do, I'll definitely give you guys a notification. Either way, look out, like I said, for that court coverage clip if you want to see this again, but with the cleaner audio. We can definitely get that for you guys. Just be a little patient. Like I said, I was going to split this into 2 days, but thank you, Ms. Shaneberg, for being nice enough to consent for, letting me show your face without the blurring it out and allowing us to post this. Hey, SoCal with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. And we have a question. Any update on Trina's case? I currently do not have one, but you know what? I'll get one for you. So, if we do a show tomorrow, like I said, we're obviously going to be moving on from this case. We're obviously going to touch on it. It's still a fresh case. Like I said, if for some reason this individual gets in any more trouble or this case gets reopened, we'll definitely follow up. But you know what? If we do decide to do a show tomorrow, SoCal, I will definitely have some updates on the Trina case. And if anything, at least I can go over what some of the, actual like, what her, what she got charged for and all that stuff. Hey, James, I appreciate the $10 super chat. Thank you. James says, thanks so much for this. Yeah, that POS will eventually face karma. I'm looking forward to that day. Thank you, James. Much appreciated for that $10 super chat. And hey, I'm a big believer of karma. Trust me. I've had mine served to myself. So, what goes around comes around. Trust me. And people that are narcissists, they get themselves in trouble all the time. They just can't control it, unfortunately, until they get help. You know what I mean? So, but if anybody has any, let's see, SJC, I am what? Thank you for the 199. I'm striked by you. I don't know what that means because I don't even watch your channel or anything like that. I don't even know if that's the real you, but thank you so much for that super chat. Much appreciated. Yeah, and ultimately, it's a pretty. I saw somebody say something about a sad situation. Yeah, it is sad, Kelly. Or I don't know if you're talking about SJC. Sorry, I may have read your comment wrong, but I mean, it's a pretty shitty situation for everybody. Ultimately, court's no bueno for nobody. And obviously, we had Linda, or excuse me, Miss Shaneberg. I apologize. Don't know you by first name basis. Come on to the panel and discuss a little bit about this. So that was really interesting to get an actual point of view from somebody that was participant or a witness in this court case. So I appreciate her, for coming up and talking about it. So much appreciated. Whether what your opinion is of her son, hey, we all have our different opinions, but I am thankful for my guests coming up by all means. Let's see here. Sorry about that. My phone was buzzing. I just want to make sure I didn't get okay, cool. No, just making sure I didn't miss something there. Sometimes my mods, I'll miss a donation and I got to be reminded. And I think we're doing okay. See, I'm getting better at that. I got two phones now reading the chat so I don't miss anything. We're moving up in the world here, right? Yeah, right. One of them's my old cracked phone. Hey, but it did its job. Like I said, it got some pretty good footage of like I said, I'll do a 2-shot tomorrow when I post the actual court case, and you'll have the clean audio, and you'll have one panel or one side with the whole view of everybody, and then the other, maybe in the corner, I'll have one just of going on, so while you're hearing everything going on, you'll see the close-up of our little friend there. But yeah, if you guys have any more questions, if we do a show tomorrow, you guys can hit me up on the show. My Instagram, by all means, a good way of contacting me through there. But I much appreciate everybody that came out this evening. Everybody in chat that participated and behaved, as they would say. Much appreciated. We are adults, most of us, so I appreciate you all acting like adults. But yeah, like I said, that's it. No jury trial. I don't know if you guys heard at the end, and we'll talk a little bit. We'll probably do something tomorrow for sure. Like I said, as long as I can find the time to do it, we'll do it. I don't care where I'm streaming from, But if you guys noticed at the end, maybe some of you couldn't hear because it was really quick. But what happened is because the judge wasn't going to allow that in as evidence, the text message essentially. It could have gone for a jury trial. They were actually going to, the judge, if you hear him, he actually is about to set it for, I think, 1 o'clock or something like that. But the prosecutor stands up right away and says, that they're going to just quash it, which pretty much means, hey, they don't want to go forward with it. So essentially, there is no not guilty. Like I said earlier in the panel talk, there is no not guilty or guilty because we never went to a jury trial. This just is pretty much what happened is it just like dropped, I guess you could say is one word, but there is a legal terminology for it. I mean, essentially it just means the prosecutor just decided they didn't have the right evidence to carry on with the case. So they didn't carry on with it. Like I said, doesn't mean they can always retry that case. If new evidence comes out, if the prosecutor decides to go another route with it, they can always retry that case. So please keep that in mind. Definitely. So there would have been a jury trial after this had they not done that. So that would have been even, like I said, they weren't going to schedule it for the next day. They were going to start right away that afternoon. So if had it gone that route, we would have had more coverage for you as well. But it didn't. So, this like I said, this book is this chapter, not a book. We're going through a big book here, but chapter 3 closed. Okay. Like I said, I'll definitely have a good clip out of the coverage, cleaner version with the audio. Look forward for that. If we can do a show tomorrow, I'll let you know. Look out for the notifications. But like I said, thank you all for joining me this evening. Thank you, mods, for doing such an awesome job this evening, taking care of the chat. Thank you, my bailiffs. And most importantly, I want to thank all the jury members this evening. I saw you guys all throughout the chat throwing out all those emojis. As a matter of fact, if any of the jury members on the house, let's throw out some emojis before we leave. And if you enjoyed this stream, I would really appreciate a thumbs up. Really helps with the algorithm. It'll help get this video out there. That way more people can see, So if you really want to get this video out there, hey, I appreciate it if you can give me a thumbs up. That would definitely help. So, but thank you, jury members. I might even have something out for you guys tomorrow for your eyes only. So look out for that. Okay. Like I said, if I don't do a show, I'll still post some stuff out for everybody. But I think I have a feeling we'll get some time tomorrow. Like I said, it could be at any time of the day. Usually I do my shows in the evening. That has to do a lot with my own in real life stuff, but my schedule. But I can do a show tomorrow at any time. So as long as I have the clip ready to go, we'll do a show if we can. And like I said, like I promised SoCal, I'll definitely get some information. We'll start. Looks like, a lot of people want to maybe go down the Trina way. We'll discuss it. We'll see what other bad apples are out there that people may be interested that are having some court cases come up soon. But I think a lot of people have been really interested with the Trina Golden case. So hey, we'll discuss it. We'll discuss it the next show, whether it's tomorrow or the next show. I'll get you some information, and yeah, we'll get started on the next case here soon. Because like I said, it don't stop. I wish it did. I wish it did. I hate to see all these people, being ran through the court system, whether they're going to be found guilty or not. It's still a waste of time, money, taxpayers' money. Your guys' money. So, it sucks. It's like I said, if it's unneeded, it's unneeded. But, the court system, remember, is very important. If there was no court system, this would be like a fucking Mad Max fucking world. Okay. And you see that. There's third world countries right now that don't have judicial systems in place. And that's why they're third world countries for a reason. So the judicial system, although it does have its flaws, for the most part, it does its job in keeping us safe and, keeping people that aren't guilty out of jail and keeping people that are guilty in jail. So simple as that. But let's see here. Just before I leave, let me just make sure somebody sent me a little screenshot. Oh, okay, cool. Nothing too important. All right. Anyway, so thank you all. Wish you a good night. Good morning for some of us. But yeah, we'll talk to you guys later. Like I said, maybe later today, but most definitely look out for the court coverage clip coming out. And jury members, I got something for your eyes only. So look out for that either tomorrow. I think tomorrow. We'll release that tomorrow. Some little info for you. I don't want to get all excited. It's nothing too crazy. Okay. So don't get all, I wish, but yeah, we'll share some news for the jury members only tomorrow. And like I said, if we put on a show, I'll let everybody know. So anyways, that being said, let's call it a night. Thank you guys for hanging in there. It was it's a 3 hour, a little bit over 3 hour stream. I know there was a lot of clips. We're just sitting there watching, but I think that's what everybody was here for. So appreciate it. Thank you all so much. Again, thank you to the jury members attending. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to all the new subscribers. I think we're almost going to hit like 2,800 here soon. So you all rock, man. Much appreciated. Thank you. I think last time I checked, we almost had 200 jury members. That's insane. So thank you all so much, jury members. I appreciate y'all's support. Hey, everybody, have a nice evening, nice morning. Don't forget to spay and neuter your pets. And we'll talk to you later. Catch you on the flip side. NJ Courts out.